Lately I don't mind staying up till midnight. I got no complaints, nothing gets you feels right. Every time you call me, I don't wanna keep you waiting. Why don't you hold me? 'Cause this is what you got me saying. Lately I don't mind staying up till midnight. I got no complaints, nothing gets you feels right. Every time you call me, I don't wanna keep you waiting. Why don't you hold me? 'Cause this is what you got me saying.
Was it something I did? Still I wonder, 'cause it isn't too clear. I don't want no trouble, tired of the lies. You found yourself another, heart as cold as ice. I'm trying to recover, do you even realize? Was it something I did? Still I wonder, 'cause it isn't too clear. I don't want no trouble, tired of the lies. You found yourself another, heart as cold as ice. I'm trying to recover, do you even realize?
can find me tearing up downtown with the high beams. No need for review when they can catch you. I never look back, never look like I want you. Oh, so innocent, kissing your tattoo, sweet like cinnamon. No need for review when they can catch you. Bag when you bag, do it clean, clean, clean. Smoke a sack, keep a mag, sip it lean, lean, lean. Fuck a jail, pop a bill, make a scene, scene, scene. 50 racks, 100 bands, out my jeans, jeans, jeans. I was chillin', walking when you're busy. I get from my kidneys and I'm trapping like I'm Whitney. Yo, bitch with me, now what she ain't missing. All I who you dissing, I say hold up, got my greasy, bang, bang. When the sun goes down, you can find me tearing up downtown with the high beams. No need for review when they can catch you. I never look back, never look like I want you. Oh, so innocent, kissing your tattoo, sweet like cinnamon. No need for review when they can catch you. Bag when you bag, do it clean, clean, clean. Smoke a sack, keep a mag, sip it lean, lean, lean. Fuck a jail, pop a bill, make a scene, scene, scene. 50 racks, 100 bands, out my jeans, jeans, jeans. I was chillin', walking when you're busy. I get from my kidneys and I'm trapping like I'm Whitney. Yo, bitch with me, now what she ain't missing. All I who you dissing, I say hold up, got my greasy, bang, bang.
Room again. You're the only thing that made me feel like this year is still worth living. I wish I didn't have to write a song about how everyone here hates me, so I'll drown in my mistakes that I can't fix. So I lay in the bottom of life, everything that you said so we can trust will never mean a thing to anyone but me.
Africa TV, Freak Up Studio, live.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Day 2 here of the GSL SuperTournament. I'm Tasteless, joined with me is State. And I'm excited to move on and wrap up today and eventually move to the next phase of the Super Tournament.
Yeah, I'm excited too, and we have a stellar lineup today as well. We actually have a rematch for the DreamHack Finals. Here is the first map to start things out here at Day 2 of Super Tournament, which is just insane, right? I mean,
it's
Hero and
funny
Bunny.
that this happens from time to time where we can leave one major event like DreamHack and go right into a Super Tournament with those two players pinned against each other here now.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting match. That DreamHack Finals was, in my opinion, one of the best StarCraft 2 finals we've had in a really long time.
For sure.
Bunny got that early 3-1 lead, and then Hero clawed his way back. It was, I mean, they both fought tooth and nail for every single map win. And, you know, it's kind of interesting now that on the grand final stage, they kind of showed everything that they had.
Yeah.
And now they have to go back to the drawing board a little bit and, like, kind of figure out how are we going to surprise our opponents? What strategies are we going to bring to the table?
Yeah, that's one of the funny things is when you've really had to, like, give everything that you possibly have in that matchup, only to then have to try once again to figure out, okay, like, what else do I have? Do I take what I've learned from those last couple games? Do I try to recycle some builds? Do I come up with something new? So this is a tough one to call here for who's going to really take this. By the way, guys, at the bottom of your screen here, information about the finals. That's going to be a week from today. So GSL Super Tournament right now for this year follows the normal GSL Codes schedule of Monday and then Thursday, 5 p.m. instead of 6:30 p.m. The finals are going to be here in this studio. It is on a first-come, first-served basis. It's different from some of our GSL Codes finals. So if you want to be here, you just need to be here before other people are here.
Yeah, and admission is free, so just
It's
show
free.
up, get a spot,
Not
enjoy
even $5,
the
$10, not even that.
yeah, enjoy the final StarCraft 2 action of this year.
Yeah, this is it before we start a whole nother year of StarCraft 2 for 2023. But I would recommend you come down here. Super Tournament always starts out light, and it gets pretty packed by the end. So you'll see some shots of our audience here. We've got a reasonable amount of people in here now, but on finals days, people do get turned away at the door. So if you're serious about coming down, I'd recommend you try to come a little bit earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. And today's matchups, Hero versus Bunny, of course, going to be match number 1 here today. And besides that, a lot of other interesting matches, like DRG versus Ryung. These are 2 old-school players that have been with StarCraft 2 from the very beginning. Dark versus Sue, some former SKT Zergs going head-to-head. And RagnaroK and Cure to finish things off here. GSL finalist and one of the best Terrans in the world. It's going to be a great day.
It's going to be really good. Now, last Super Tournament day, I guess day 1, better said, we had some pretty one-sided matches. I was a little bit taken aback by that. Normally, the best part of a best-of-5 is you really get to explore all the different ways the 2 players can approach each other. But we had some extremely one-sided sets. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen here. But sometimes in a round of 16, for instance, you do have to weed out the weaker players. And you can see that done in a very pronounced way.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have as fast a day here as we did on day 1. I don't even know if that's possible. We had like 3 3-0s, I think, and a 3-1 or something crazy like that. And some really stellar matchups like Hero versus Bunny. I can't wait to get into this one and talk about it because, I mean, these 2 players, not only are they the top of their respective races, but also they kind of have a history together. There was a stretch of about 10 months from November of last year until September of this year where Hero did not lose a single series against Bunny. You know, Bunny would take a map here and there, but he would never take a series. And then suddenly, in October or September this year, it felt like something kind of started to click for Bunny. He played a little bit more aggressive, and that aggression started to work. He started to take set wins. And even in the grand finals of DreamHack, he was up to 3-1. I mean, if that was a best-of-5, he would have been the champion.
Yeah, he would have been out already.
And he did it with some interesting strategies, too. Like, we saw a lot more 2-Rax Reaper play out of him to really great effect. He was getting a ton of probe kills. Like, I mean, how often do we really see 3 Reapers early on, like, multiple times in a best-of-X series, you know?
And how often do we really see Hero get harassed? Normally, he's always on the offense. It's really up to players, excuse me, up to players trying to stop Hero before he can really finish off whatever his plans are. And so this is going to be that rematch we were talking about, with from the finals in Atlanta, Hero versus Bunny. This is going to be so fun. Again, they really had some time to test each other out, and coming back into another best-of-5, again, a long series. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. And if it's going to be similar to what we saw in the previous games, or there's more tricks up their sleeves. Not each other's sleeves. Sorry, that doesn't make any sense. Up their sleeves. Anyways, guys, game 1, Hero versus Bunny, starts now. Tricks up each other's sleeves. That's one of my worst.
I didn't even catch that until you said something about it.
No, that's not right.
I mean, you just said the words. I'm like, yeah, that sounds right to me, Tasteless.
Yeah, I was almost there.
Hit the nail on the head.
Terran, Bunny.
But yeah, I am so interested in what these 2 decide to open with here. in this best-of-5 series. I mean, it's not even like you're going from a best-of-7 to a best-of-3, right? Like, as you said earlier, usually one of the joys of Super Tournament in a best-of-5 is you kind of get into a deep dive in a matchup with two highly skilled players. And, I mean, we just had that like 2 weeks ago with these guys, right? And now they're doing it again here in another best-of-5. And see the match history there on your screen. Hero, of course, with the overall edge, but lately Bunny, I mean, he's been playing really well against Hero. I think he won a couple of series against him leading up into that DreamHack Finals.
And Bunny's really worked so hard to get to where he is, especially with these other players from Calgary. Welcome.
Welcome, you guys.
All you guys could make it. So
it's a long trip.
I know, it's a very long trip from Calgary, man. So good to have all you guys here in the studio. But yeah, Bunny really put a lot of hard work into getting to where he is. The Korea region, obviously there are so many good players, and Bunny, he's been around forever, right? If you follow GSL, he's definitely a guy you're familiar with. But I love how even at the end of this year, he's gotten he's leveled up yet again. And so if he could take Hero out here now, it's really going to change the way we have to view this whole bracket for Super Tournament Season 2.
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be a Terran fan. I mean, Maru just winning G5L, and it feels like almost every single Korean Terran just gets a little bit better than their peers of the other races every year, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, as you said, Bunny's been working so hard for so long and almost won his very first championship just a couple of weeks ago. And we'll see. I mean, he's got to be riding a little bit of momentum coming out of that DreamHack, although he didn't win it. I mean, that's his best place in a Premier Finish tournament, I think, ever, if I'm not mistaken. So who knows? Maybe he's going to come here and close that out with a GSL Super Tournament win. Maybe Hero's going to try and go for a back-to-back tournament win. It's so much at stake for both of these guys.
One of the funny things with Hero is, like, when you compare him to most other players, like a lot of players, they have to do their military service, and then they come back, and they're usually a very different version of themselves.
Right.
You go away. I think is it 18 months now, or is it still 2 years? Or it might depend on the type of service you do.
Yeah, I'm not sure, actually.
But, yeah, these guys go away, and, a lot of them, they don't have time to train, or some players just don't come back, or don't come back until years after the military service is done.
Or they try to come back and they struggle for a long time, as we've seen.
That's usually what happens
in GSL.
But then Hero came back, and it's like he looked even better than before, which is just sort of kind of a funny moment. And he seems to be in his best form yet. And before he left to do his military service, he already looked pretty damn scary.
Yeah, he was already one of the best Protoss players in the world, and then to come back from military service, and I think maybe even within a year, win like the first GSL in how many years for a Protoss player? It must have been like 5 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Just something crazy. It's phenomenal what we've seen from him, and it's no small feat either, as you said. So many players, like, they come out of military service and they don't look the same, or it takes them a long time to get back up to where they were before, but Hero better than ever. I don't know how he did it. Maybe he got some new perspective. Maybe the break was good for him, but oh man, look at this base.
oh, that's so funny. For a second, I almost like had the map upside down in my mind when I saw that base being taken. So this is very odd. This almost looks like a really old StarCraft 1 game where the Protoss would take a third base somewhere like another main.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. I was thinking it kind of looks like a lot of Hero's other games, except he does this at the gold base, and this time he's doing it at a blue mineral base.
This is so funny. So, generally speaking, it's no secret that normally people, they try to take their third base close to their second. And if you take a hidden base, usually it would be like, let's say on a map where it's like a one-on-one map, but there's you're both sharing the top. Right, and you could take like the very bottom center, or just one of these places that's hard to scout.
It's further away from your opponent too, right? So there's an advantage there.
Right. So this is like odd and honestly fascinating, because I'm almost scared he just chased that Hellion into the base. Is this going to see it?
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. I almost feel like you have to play a weird mind game where you leave the Hellion alone, so it never goes and checks there. So, what's funny is, and look at that's how he uses it. He just sends the probes like that.
That's how you do it every single time. It's nice.
Yeah.
Protoss is the only race that can actually do that, where you don't really need to transfer workers or like slowly saturate a new base.
Yeah, there's no giveaway, right?
Unless like he scans or goes for like a Widow Mine drop and sees like less than normal probes in the main or the natural. But
and that would be a tough thing to look for in the moment, right?
But yeah, you're hitting on a great point where this is just kind of unusual, and I think we're kind of entering this really weird area where like these guys, as we said, just gave it their all in a best of 7 series that went to map 7. And so now it's like, all right, how do I surprise them now?
I mean, they basically played all their strategies out earlier on.
And this is so exciting because Bunny, like, he scouted this, and it's a later than normal third base, right? So maybe he's thinking, I should play on the back foot. I should be a little bit more defensive because maybe Hero is kind of adding his production before this third base and leading up to a timing attack. But actually, it's the opposite, where this is a really fast fourth base coming out from Hero, is that 5 o'clock base is still unscouted.
So hidden bases were more common in StarCraft 1. They still are more common. Like, you'll probably see like at least one ASL game a season where like something that almost looks exactly like this happens. The problem is if you don't scout the hidden base in StarCraft 1 or StarCraft 2, then you have a bad read on where they are at. So you might think that you're ahead or even when in fact you're not. Now, that being said, this is a 2-base push where right now it's it in fact is Hero going up to 4 bases. So this push could actually still kill Hero.
Yeah, this is a really scary push, and Hero going for this fast fourth base and Colossus as well means that he doesn't have Blink or Thermal Lance for about half a minute left. At least on the Thermal Lance, Blink is even further away, so force field control going to have to be critical here. Buddy stimming in, immediately disables the Colossus, and man, he's pouncing on this position.
Yeah, force field's there, but I mean, what does that really solve? He's going to be able to lock in some of those units. I guess the Colossus could try to kite there and do whatever damage he can do. The more the infantry gets thinned out, the better a spot it is going to be for the Protoss here, and I think perhaps the slightest overextension here from Bunny, but now it looks like we're going to see Hero try to stick it to him once more here. The Colossus disabled again.
Yeah, and that's a lot of the gateway units and support units going out, so this Colossus all the way up here, the natural expansion is completely defenseless. Bio stimming in, not only takes down the Colossus, but 15 probes, and now Hero scrambling to defend outside of his natural expansion, but the Bio is coming back, and I don't know if Hero's going to have enough.
I don't know how well this infantry can try to pursue this one Colossus. One Colossus still makes the math a lot more fuzzy on how this fight can go, especially when there's this many Marines. Oh, sorry, a second Colossus up here, perched up on this ledge. I think that actually Hero barely survives this. Maybe Bunny loops around up north and tries to go into the main.
He might, but this is kind of going back to what you said earlier, where Bunny might not have a very good idea on what the actual game state is, because he just killed 30 probes, but it's only a 5-worker lead now for Bunny. So he might kind of rest on his laurels just a little bit, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be happening. Bunny, he's a very aggressive Terran player. He wants to pounce on this opportunity while he can, and he's going to continue to pressure this third base.
Now he's going to come down here and try to push in once more. The Raven doesn't have the energy to disable a Colossus just yet, which really doesn't leave a lot of room here. In fact, there's going to be a lot more additional shots that are going to be just dealt onto this infantry. And even though right now Hero's barely hanging on, the reality is that Bunny's not really getting into a spot that's going to be comfortable here. The longer he goes without finding that base, and I don't see why he would find that base now if he hasn't found it already, the worse this could get. But it looks like there's an opening here now. Bunny's going to try to dive up into this natural area. Now, he could maybe even kill off the workers here and go into the main.
Looks like that's what he's doing. He takes down a lot of workers here already. 5 going down as he kites into the main base. Hero kind of scrambling to try and get control of that ramp, but all this Bio coming in. Will he be able to snipe the Robo? Actually going to turn and fight these gateway units as they come up. But this Bio, it's very low on HP. Yet another disable goes down as I think Bunny's going to quickly evacuate from this location, just getting every inch of damage he can. Oh man, even the Colossus, it's not controlled there, so disable causes it to A-move into its death.
Okay, you know what? I think actually Bunny might be able to take this now, especially with that Colossus going down. I think there's just not quite enough.
Hero just a little bit behind on tempo, especially losing that Colossus is very painful. But, I mean, now he does have Blink, he does have Charge, so if he's able to get up enough of a force, he might be able to stabilize here. But with a medevac count as high as it is, he's going to be hard-pressed to win this next engagement.
Yeah, 2 Colossi are still in here. The medevac energy, by the way, going to start getting pretty low here. There's going to be definitely a lot to try to heal up. Zealots are going to spill out into the front now. The Vikings are going to chip away at this Colossus. No battery in sight to heal it.
And no battery. The natural expansion has another Colossus going down. Is this Bio? It's very low on HP, but Hero just doesn't have the firepower to actually take units down. He's chipping away at the units at the front, but I think we're finally reaching the tipping point.
Yeah, I think this is over, actually. And, you know, I got to say, I like the idea of what Hero did, but you know, 4 bases versus 2 bases. 4 bases is still 4 bases. That's still a lot. GG.
I mean, even at the end there, the worker counts were tied, but Hero, I mean, he just didn't have enough to actually defend that timing push.
I think you need to make like a 4th Nexus and not even start making extra probes. I think you almost want to like goad them into attacking you.
That might be it.
And
because keep in mind, like he lost those 30 workers, and Bunny only had like a 5 worker lead or something after that.
Yeah.
So he was way ahead on Eco before that push happened. But Hero laughing a little bit about that game.
well, it's kind of fun that we were right about the weird strategies getting pulled out there, right? It's like, well, what else can I try to do against this guy? Moon Dance is where we're going to go now for map number 2. Bunny with that 1-0 lead here. I do wonder, I guess there's no way to check now, if Bunny actually goes into the replay and checks.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He might, because you know you have the score screen after you quit the game. You might even just be able to tell from the worker count that, oh, something funny was going on there.
Do you find that you click through the score screen a lot? I always feel like I
all
just
the time.
exit.
Yeah.
Okay,
It tells such a big story.
Everybody's so different now. Like I know some players, they never look at the replay, or they don't look at the replays when they should, and other players check. But maybe that was when Bunny was shaking his head when he realizes, oh, you took a another base. I didn't even know. Anyways, guys, game 2 is ready. Let's go.
Start. Protoss, Hero. Terran, Bunny.
Such a fun opening strategy in that game number 1 from Hero.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very cool. That was, a real Hero moment. Where I feel like Hero is really kind of filling the shoes of SOS now. Even though it's not like he plays like SOS, it's sort of the crazy, eccentric stuff that he tries to pull off.
I think that if you want to be the best Protoss player in the world, which Hero is, you kind of need to do this, right? You got to have like a little bit of flavor from everyone, because Protoss, it's not a race like Zerg where, if you have all of your timings perfect, if you're... How do I want to phrase this? It's not like Zerg in that you can just kind of react to everything, and as long as you understand like what drone timings you need to respond to different things, what timings to get like your Zergling speed or roaches, as long as you understand the flow chart of the game, so to speak, you can play very well at the top level. Protoss, you kind of need to subvert the expectations of your opponent. You got to surprise them. You can't just rely on mechanics. I mean, occasionally in StarCraft 2, we will get a Protoss player that really can just play that macro game, but it's very rare. Stats, old school Rain, back before he retired, was another one that was, the best in the world at doing this. And, I mean, this is 2022 StarCraft 2. Everyone is better than they were a year ago. They're much better than they were 5 years ago. And so Hero just, I mean, he's so good at so many different styles. And I think having the flexibility and like the variance of openings, the kind of repertoire to be able to go and do a build like he did there in map number 1 is just one of many things that makes him the best Protoss player in the world. And
I think a lot of it comes back to the fact that when the Cybernetics Corps finishes, you have these 3 different tech routes that are both, or I guess all are double-edged swords in one way or another, right? You're getting some powerful tech, but you're not getting something else, right? And so you get all these really kind of crazy ways that you can take a game.
I don't think Hero's getting Warp Gate. Okay, he's going for a very fast Stargate instead, but man, he's delayed his Warp Gate a bunch to do this.
Yeah, that's wild. I'm so used to just always assuming Warp Gate's like the first thing that's going to be made here. So this is another very interesting, kind of experimental build here.
Okay, he starts it now. For a moment there, I was wondering, like, okay, at what point have we forgotten this?
At what point is this no longer a strategy and actually just a mistake that we're watching unfold? Now, at the same time, Terran's going to get a starport over here at the 3 o'clock spot on the map, so just outside of Hero's natural base.
Yeah, we'll see what Bunny decides to do with that, and Stargate can be a really nice response to this too for Hero, as long as he's not caught off guard by like a Cloak Banshee, for example. But proxying the starport like that, I'd be pretty surprised if he went for Cloak. I think it's much more likely to be some other unit, and yeah, a Phoenix immediately started, and it's going to be a Hellion there for a quick drop. Okay.
Yeah, now this could get pretty hairy here because right now, they're both going to have units that can damage each other in each other's bases. The Adepts can't really do that much, but I guess this Hellion drop can't start until these Hellions can get over there. So they're going to go out now.
Oh, I wonder if Hero actually saw him leave his base.
Okay, so he's going to. Okay, so he knows what this is.
Yeah, he should have a pretty good idea. The one thing I'm not sure if he's aware of is the starport. He might be expecting these guys to run into the natural expansion. And yeah, I'm looking at the minimap. He might be setting up a wall right now, at least building one gateway. But the medevac is here, so these Hellions are going to die very quickly. This probe line's completely exposed, Tasteless.
Yeah, this is pretty bad, man. He's coming in here now. The probes are still lined up. A Phoenix picks up a Hellion back there, but 3 Hellions are still dishing out more and more damage.
Luckily, there is a battery here in the main base, so only 7 probes going to go down, but that's a lot of damage here to Protoss, who...
Oh,
man.
Oh, man. Did he just lose all the Adepts?
I think he lost 2 out of 3 there.
I almost got confused, by the way. I forgot about that third base in the back for a second. I saw the Adept going down. I'm like, no, is that actually at the Protoss' natural?
But that was a lot of damage in here from these Hellions. I mean, 9 probes in total going down, and Hero now at a worker deficit where typically, Protoss with their chrono boosts and potentially faster Nexus will be expecting to have a little bit of a worker lead. And I mean, the units lost tab just kind of tells the story there where Bunny got the much better trade to start things out. Now, let's see if Hero's able to get any damage done with these Phoenixes. I think he only has about 2 lifts because he did spend that energy to defend back at home. And Bunny has some like insane number of Widow Mines out on the field right now, I think. I mean, we briefly saw the unit tab, but I think he had like 5, which is a lot. Yeah, that's a lot of Widow Mines. He has more Widow Mines than Marines.
Yeah. He's going to try to come up here. I mean, there's almost nowhere that's actually safe. So, I mean, it's going to be up to Hero to be very, very cautious. And, Hero is an aggressive player. He does like to try to find and force opportunities. And maybe he's got one over here. Oh, my God. Almost gets into the main there. Good block. Good deflection there with the depot.
This is some really nice maneuvering over here by Hero, just replacing those Adepts. Oh, Widow Mine. Oh, for a second, I thought the shot from the Cyclone coming out was a Widow Mine tracking beam. And I was like, wait, that range is insane. Yeah, some nice SCV damage here for Hero as he's evening the worker count just a bit. And this is an awkward spot for Bunny. I mean, he invested so many resources in those Widow Mines. Now coming in for the drop in the main base.
No.
Hero is unaware.
He's just not looking, and that is going to be 10 probes killed. And, it's great that these Phoenixes and Adepts are in here, but that is so many workers picked off, and just, I don't see an opportunity for the Protoss right now. Another Widow Mine drop here.
This is such a low eco game. There is no armory out for Bunny just yet, so Hero, without detection, able to clean up those Widow Mines from his base. But man, I mean, he must have lost like, what, 15, 16, maybe even 17 probes so far, and we're only at the 6-minute mark. He's really got to get something done with these Adepts and Phoenixes.
I mean, the question is, how will he get really anything done right now? Terran's position is so tight right now. The Widow Mine spread is so good. Another Widow Mine.
It's going in.
No scopes it right down there. So he's going to try to force a fight. Widow Mine does connect onto the Phoenixes and is then scooped up and picked off.
Yeah, Phoenix is lifting the Cyclones here, going to try and take those out. The Marines are slowly whittling away at the Adepts. Only 2 left on the ground as Hero now out of Phoenix energy, going to have to.
It's just Phoenixes now. I mean, it's just not. If Phoenixes have no energy, you're just not going to do anything here. And the Adept count is low enough. I think that Terran could kind of crank out just enough to sort of deal with this. I guess he could try to find whatever he can find, like medevacs and stuff like that. Stim's going to finish. Infantry level 1 weapons is going to finish.
Yeah, once those upgrades are done, these Marines are a lot scarier on the ground.
Yeah, well, also, I mean, the reality is that there's just not that much of a ground army right now. Most of the supply, an army supply here, for Hero is in the Phoenixes that we're watching.
If he's going to come over here and try and take another fight with the 3 Adepts that just warped in, trades them out for Marines, which, I mean, you do kind of want to chip away at the bio army count for Bunny here because Hero's going to be hard-pressed to have any splash damage up for the next coming minutes. And I think at this point he kind of recognizes that this harassment isn't going to get much more done, even almost losing another Phoenix there. And he's starting his Twilight Council. He's adding gateways, actually 3 more gates, 4 more gates. He might be fully committing to an attack here.
Yeah, well, this is one way to do it from Hero, is to basically just not even try to expand. It's almost counterintuitive for what the map is, because the third base is so easy to take on this map, assuming you take that free base in the back.
Right.
But
I think he might just be afraid that, he lost so many workers early. It was like 15+ probes that went down, and Bunny's third base is faster, and his standing army is already better and higher tech, that he kind of has to make some Hail Mary play to come back in this game. And that's going to be the choice from him. Actually sending a probe down to the third base. Huh. I wonder if this is a fake, because that's a lot of investment in early gateways and chrono boosting out Storm. Man, what a clutch Reaper. Like, who sends a Reaper at this stage of the game, man? He's going to get a full scout.
I can't even believe this.
He's going to check the third base.
Now, he did put a probe back there. That was all for looks. Ideally, the probe's back there for a scan. So then they see them, they go, oh, okay, he's about to expand. He just hasn't taken it yet.
Like, what Terran goes with like an 830 Reaper Scout? And he gets so much value out of it. You see Storm being chrono boosted. He saw that like there might be a probe at the third base, but there's no Nexus just yet. He has a very good idea of exactly what the game state is right now. And I mean, Bunny's got to be feeling good, knowing this is the situation, because he's pretty far ahead. All the damage done already. I mean, even more Phoenix is going down. Yes, Hero does get 3 SCVs, but besides Storm, Phoenix is really the only kind of high-tech unit he has. Like that is his army there, the natural expansion. It's a handful of Zealots, a Sentry, and a couple of Templars. So Hero's not in the best spot.
Now, I mean, it seems like the game will probably quiet down a little bit here. The third base is being taken. We do have Terran moving out of the map. Maybe I'm wrong, actually. Maybe he can actually just come in here for a timing attack. I guess if he did get the confirmation that a third Nexus started and it wasn't a fake, which it wasn't because he's now got that coming here, maybe you look at these Phoenixes and go, you know, I'm not really scared of these. These can never fight my army if we're all together. And we know that the Protoss' ground army, it's kind of flimsy. It's kind of dated for how long of a game this has become.
Yeah, Storms are going to be absolutely critical here for Hero. Force Storm gets a lot of damage on the Marines, but only one goes down.
Yeah, and if Protoss can't handle the fight out here, if he goes behind his structures, he's also going to be kind of walled out from fighting, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you really don't want to take that fight. Another nice Storm there on the right side, but Bunny just has so much here, and this Widowmine spread is absolutely insane at the top. Another nice Storm. I mean, he's doing the best he can to try and get the grouped up bio, but look at this spread and split here for Bunny, just in complete control of the fight, and now it's almost only Templar left for Hero.
This is kind of insane right now. Some Storms are coming down. The army's getting thinned out. Is there enough back here to kind of fend off these Zealots? It seems like he just barely has enough. The Zealots themselves can't really retreat. There are units parading down here. He basically has all of his rallies over here in this position.
Ghost coming in now too, and Hero knows it.
Bunny looking very strong. I got to say, these are fun games.
Yeah, these
are really action-packed games. A lot going on here.
Yeah, we came in today knowing this is going to be, you know, the highlight moment from day 2 of Super Tournament. Hero versus Bunny, the rematch for the DreamHack Atlanta Finals, and
I think Hero can still turn this around.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's any one thing he's doing wrong, but these are pretty abstract games, by the way.
Yeah, they're kind of...
Maybe not from Bunny game one. Game 1 from Bunny was pretty conservative, but...
Game 2 was pretty straightforward, too. I mean, like, yeah, there is a proxy starport, but that's not really too crazy. Like, you make a medevac and then you go home.
Yeah, but right? I mean, the late warp gate and everything, I mean, that was fun.
Yeah, from Hero, it's been quite creative.
Yes, it's been very out there. Well, Hero tried to dial it back in a more traditional play. I'm not so sure. Stargazers is going to be map number 3 here as we go forward here with Hero versus Bunny. Again, if Bunny wins here, he's moving on to the round of 8. If Hero can win here, he will at least start that comeback. And that'll be the first step in a really long road ahead here if he's going to reverse this. Anyways, guys, game 3 starts now.
Game start. Protoss, Hero. Terran, Bunny.
Oh my god.
Uh-oh. Okay, you guys aren't seeing this on screen, but there was a worker high five in the middle of the map.
Yeah, Hero pretty much sent this probe out immediately. I'm quite sure he sent it out before Pylon, and Bunny sent an SCV out as well. So this guy's kind of having the same idea here, and now instead just both going to build their production back at home.
Yeah, they both decide to quit. The probe of a Hero is going to stalk the SCV of Bunny. And,
so funny.
Yeah, they both were having dirtbag plays to start this out.
I mean, this is the kind of thing that happens when you go from like best of 7 grand finals to like best of 5 within like a 2 or 3 week span, where the games kind of get a little bit crazier and crazier as you progress, right? And so Bunny's gonna instead use this SCV. I don't know if this was his original plan with this one, to go for this engineering bay block.
It could be. I mean, that's one of the plays you have if you try to send the worker out really early on. It could be impromptu as well. But 4 is the number where the SCV can't build this as fast as the SCV can't build as fast as the probes will damage it. So
yeah, probes can also get a really nice surround there on the engineering base. So like every way the SCV kind of dances around as it's building, it's going to take some damage.
It'll get hit from one of those 4 probes.
Yeah. And we actually saw this from Bunny in DreamHack Finals as well, where he went for a bunker behind the Nexus and actually did get it up. He was able to clean it up eventually, but we'll see if... Yeah, there it is on the minimap. Bunny going for the same thing again.
I'm kind of surprised he's going to go for this once more, but I guess this is just in the build, right? It doesn't matter if you've experienced it or not.
I mean, the opportunity cost is like... A lot of it's been spent already, you know? Like, he already has the SCV on the map. It's going to take a million years to get back home and start mining anyway. So it's like, yeah, you build it. I mean, if he finds it, you cancel it. if he finds it later, you salvage it. It's not much of investment. Just going to delay the production back at home just a bit. Is now the Reaper coming into the main base. Gets to see that Adept at the proper timing. Does not see the Starport tech, and Bunny does not really care about hiding this at all. Just immediately showing his hand there, has that bunker at the natural expansion, and that's going to be a bit annoying.
Honestly, this is a pretty good start here for Bunny.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
When you get the bunker up and, you know, Hero's already down 2 games, and it's kind of an annoying start here. There's no way to take advantage of that Nexus right now, so you can't have your extra workers mine over there.
And you also derailed the opening plan from Hero as well. Like, he did not send that first probe out with the intention of following an SCV, right? He wanted to do some proxy shenanigans, so... Yeah, looking nice for Bunny. He's got to be happy with this game so far. As now Hero mining out the backdoor expansion minerals. This Nexus still completely useless, just producing probes.
Yeah, and he's got this one Reaper on the side to maybe try to catch or kill or any worker coming out, or nade the ramp and kind of control it that way. These Adepts are going to come down, and he'll very quickly just get inside this bunker.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't too much to be done here. The Reaper's going to slowly chip away at these units, but... Oh! Scary for a moment. Really wanted to throw that grenade.
Is he going to lose that Adept? Okay.
I would be surprised.
I feel like that's not the way to do it. You want to lose just shields, not HP there.
I feel like maybe... I think Hero just wants to get rid of the bunker as fast as possible.
He's just so focused on getting it down. It's not about,
like, if you don't have a battery, it's kind of a worse situation where, like, you're microing the Adepts back, so you're not killing the bunker that quickly.
That's a good
as
point.
a result, like, the Reapers can start, like, targeting your probes, which is just so annoying. So maybe Hero just deciding, like, it's not really worth the extra, like, 60 HP or whatever it is.
Time is more important than, perfection here.
Oh, no.
Oh, now that's bad.
Yeah,
the Cyclones have a range of a computer screen. So
I think it's actually more than the screen.
It's got to be more than a screen.
Yeah.
No, as long as I've casted this game, even now, there's times where I see a Cyclone fire and I'm like, damn, that shoots really far.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And that was a really unfortunate position for Hero, too, is there wasn't really a way for the Oracle to fly away where Bunny would lose vision, you know? Like, it's really tight back there behind the natural expansion of the main base for Bunny, so doesn't even need to get a scan to kill it. And Hero, for his trouble, did get to pick off that Viking here with these Phoenixes, and he's continuing to build them as well. Going to third Nexus, Twilight Council considerably faster than it was in the last game. Actually, nice Widowmine there. Does take one Phoenix out.
Stim has started now, but Hero already taken his third base. Bunny's like to do a lot of timing pushes here.
Yeah, he's been having some success with 2-base timings against Hero.
I wonder if it's a good spot to do a 2-base timing push where that third base is being taken now.
Yeah, there's potential there. I mean, you could set up siege tanks behind those minerals, right? But
yeah.
It is just kind of awkward fighting in that spot because you're not really going to have, like, the SCVs to mine out the minerals. So if you want to get in, you have to dropship micro, and then suddenly it's just kind of awkward the way you have to finesse and manage your army a little bit. So we'll see if he decides to go for a play like that or if he decides to push up into the front natural expansion. And I'm a little bit worried for Hero here because he did invest into 5 Phoenixes, I think. One got taken out by that Widowmine. And that's not too good at stopping a tank bio push, which Bunny is one of the best in the world at executing. So we'll see exactly how this goes. Hero is slowly working his way up towards Templar Tech in addition to Charge Zealots. But so far, I mean, his economy not as interrupted as it was in the previous match.
No, certainly not. I mean, he's in okay shape. That was a close call, by the way.
Yeah.
Those 2 Widowmines there. He's really hoping that, an overeager Hero is just going to try to jettison it in there. And it could still happen as we see this attack coming out. Stim's about to finish, +1 attack's about to finish. Now, again, this game, I think, has been better for Hero. There's been some, bad moments here as well, but This is going to be a real test here. Can he hold his natural?
Yeah, and that is so many Marines.
Yeah.
Like this is like an almost pure Marine army.
Now there's a lot of Widow Mines. He might try to use the Phoenixes to drag Widow Mine hits in.
You know, originally I was thinking this was a tank push, but because we just are so accustomed to seeing that. But this is like almost pure Marine Widow Mine. It's kind of crazy. Now he's going to hit a really fast timing before Templar are out with Storm.
It's not like there's a Colossus here to disable, so maybe auto turrets are the way to go.
Could also try and shed the armor, maybe.
Sure, that's acceptable as well. Small number of adepts are going to come around. They're going to be spotted. They're going to be chased by these medevacs. I guess it's all on one control group, actually. So this is a pretty smart move. Basically, Bunny isn't that confident that he could take this fight, so he's not going to take it. Now, there's some more infantry from the Protoss side of things coming out. He doesn't know how many Widow Mines are out there. He sees 2, but there's actually 4.
Yeah.
And one thing with Marines is they can snipe stuff down before they really hit their moment.
I love that play.
That
Gets
was
2
sick.
of the Widow Mines with Hallucinating Phoenixes, then charges in. Guardian Shield and Zealots pushing forward. That's a lot of bio. Nice force field. Able to catch a handful of Marines and Marauders.
Kind of a weird force field there, to be honest. They kind of slip through the edges there. I don't know. I think Bunny may be a little bit too far in here. The Widow Mines are going to come down. This is a really good angle to try to connect at. And this is a real tug of war right now. Again, keeping the Archons alive is so important here. The Archons are a little bit slower than everything, so they do slowly get pulled into the back. Now in range of shield batteries, more reinforcements coming in.
And I like the way that Hero is taking these engagements where he just kind of pounces on Bunny's army, tries to chip away, get as many of the bio down as possible, and then retreat back to the shield batteries to replenish the shields of the Archons while only really trading Zealots, because I don't think he has Storm right now. I think that's why he's morphing all these Archons. So he's really on a clock. He cannot let Bunny get a huge ball of bio out, because that will scale better than the army that he's building at home. He needs splash damage, or he needs to take smaller fights.
Okay, a lot more Widow Mines put down here. Keep in mind the Phoenix count is a lot lower. And I don't know how much energy is in these sentries to the point where he might be able to actually use Hallucinate to drag some of those mine hits in here. So here we go. Pretty good splitting here on those Zealots. But again, the Zealot number drops low enough that makes me a little bit worried. Not a lot of cushion there for the Immortal and the Archons.
And only a handful of force fields left. And he spent some to get just a handful of Marines. So Hero is doing a good job of keeping the bio count under control, but it's still kind of a scary position here. I mean, his army is 9 Zealots and 5 Archons, which it's not the best, especially once these Widow Mines finally get set up and protected. I mean, a couple big hits from Widow Mines could be deadly here for Hero's army.
Okay, he's starting to chip off the Archons here. The Archons are still kind of awkwardly in the front, by the way.
Yeah.
This is easier said than done to try to maneuver that. I mean, especially when you have it all in one control group here. But he's starting to inch in here with the mines. Third base is healthy. By the way, fourth base right now for Protoss is impossible. But, oh.
That hurts.
Yeah, that was almost better for Bunny with the force fields, the way that ended up.
Hero really needed to shave off some units there with those force fields. He warped in a bunch of sentries because he knows that he needs to kind of catch some bio to actually be able to kill it. Otherwise, he's just going to continuously be kited into these Widow Mines. And even Ghost now entering the fray, those Archons are going to quickly lose their value.
Now, there's a warp in up here above this. And he's going to try to come in here for a surround. There's going to be a lot of Widow Mine hits as the dust settles. There's still a couple more Zealots, but not enough to keep that push going forward here. Some juggling with the Archons.
Disruptor is out, though. Disruptor Ball coming out. Nice hit there. Gets a handful of Marauders and some Widow Mines.
That was a good dodge for Bunny, though, to do that little U-turn there.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot of time to react to that one. The first Disruptor kind of caught him by surprise, but nice crisis management. And this fight, although it looks quite even here at the middle of the map on Hero's side. Oh, the Disruptor goes down too.
It just walked right into the rest of the infantry.
Yeah, and this fight, although it looks even, the army supply for Bunny right now is double. He's just parade pushing this. It feels like he's replenishing his army so much faster than Hero is, and man, we might be seeing a 3-0 Tasteless.
Yeah, this is looking pretty bad right now. The push comes forward, and I think we're at that snowballing moment here. There is no way that Hero's going to survive this, and with a stunning victory, Bunny is going to take this series 3-0.
Yeah. Wow, what a phenomenal performance out of Bunny. Beating the DreamHack champion, getting his revenge here at GSL SuperTournament and advancing to the next round.
I gotta say, man, I'm blown away. And, you know, these are fun games, too. It is kind of weird seeing Hero, you know, drop off as soon as he has his first best of 5, but Bunny is somebody we can really be excited by. And, you know, one thing about Terran right now, especially in Korea, is Mario, he kind of steals the show.
He does.
Right? I mean, you know, we've got great play. We've had Cure look phenomenal. But Bunny, man, he looks really good. He's kind of found his own voice in how to play the game. Let's see what he wants to say now that he has beaten Hero 3-0 and is moving on into the round of 8.
Wow, what a performance from Bunny. Bunny defeats Hero 3-0 and moves on to round of 8. Congratulations, thank you. Wow, 3-0, we could have not predicted that, Bunny. So this was your revenge match against Hero after the DreamHack Atlanta. So how do you feel right now?
지난주에 결승전을 해서 졌는데
So last week in the finals, I lost to him,
이겼는데
and today I beat him.
결승전 아쉬움이 더 크게 남는 것 같아요.
And you know, I think the disappointment from last week is only growing right now. But you did take him down today, Bunny. What an amazing performance from you. I mean, your momentum is looking so good right now. And I feel like you learned a lot after the DreamHack experience. And this is definitely a fruition of your effort over the years.
예전에 잘 성적이 안 나올 때 열심히 했던 게 지금 좀 나오는 것
I mean, back in the past when I used to
마음을 좀 비우고
not get good results, I think all that experience has built up to this moment.
정말 이기고 싶은 상대를 이겼잖아요.
I mean, you really need to take down Hero today, and you did.
때리기만 하셨는데
I mean, every game you're so aggressive, you're hitting him from every angle.
보였던 그런 전투였나요?
And did you know when you're gonna win against him?
약해가지고 당연히 밀 수 있을 거라 생각했고.
I mean, I did know that if I just pushed it, I would be able to just infiltrate his space.
정말 이기고 싶은 상대를 이겼잖아요.
I mean, an opponent you had to defeat today, you did defeat him.
무서운 선수 너무 많죠.
I mean, is there not an intimidating opponent for you now? I mean, there are so many.
경기도 좀 집중해서 잘해야 될 것 같아요.
I mean, even for the next game, I'm gonna have to prepare thoroughly and try to defeat whoever comes my way.
김동원 선수거든요. 저그전에 대해서 이야기를 좀 해보자면
Alright, now let's talk about the Zerg.
GSL 시즌 3에서 레이너를 탈락시켰고
In GSL Season 3, Su took down Raynor, and Su took down not Su. DRG took him down. So, do you prefer DRG as your next opponent?
항상 좀 껄끄러워가지고.
You know, I tend to avoid playing against my teammate, so I do want to play against Ryung instead.
하고 싶어요.
But you know, at the end of the day, I don't really care whoever gets decided as my opponent.
태태전보단 저그전이 저는 좀 편해가지고.
But I definitely prefer to play against a Zerg than a TVT.
조금만 더 이야기해 보면 사실 반대쪽에 이 4강까지 만약에 내다 본다면
To further elaborate, if you were to move on to round of 4, there are so many Zergs available on the other side of the bracket. There's Dark, there's Su, there's DRG, and there's RagnaroK.
거의 못 이겨가지고 령우도 힘들고.
I mean, I've never defeated Dark in the past, so I don't want to play against Dark for sure.
하게 되면 또 준비를 해봐야 또 자신감이 붙을 것 같아요.
But you know, at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to build up my confidence until the round of 4.
강력한 우승 후보로 떠오르셨다는.
You're definitely one of the favorites to take out the whole tournament now.
이번 슈퍼 토너먼트에서 그동안 4강
And this super tournament,
해오셨으니까요.
you've been to the round of 4. You've been a runner-up. Now it's time for you to win the GSL SuperTournament, right?
지난주에 생전 처음으로 결승을 갔는데 그걸 놓친.
I mean, last week I went to the finals of a Premier Tournament for the first time. And you know, I had a lot of disappointment. I'll try to wash away this disappointment in this super tournament. And that was it from Bunny, who just beat Hero. Congratulations, Bunny. Thank you. And that's it with the interview with Bunny. And now we're going to take a short break before we get into the next match. The next match is going to be between DRG and Ryung. Please tune in.
darkness, you're the light. You make my heart open wide up. And daily, it's hard to see, but you show me there's more to love. More than enough. Baby, I'm the darkness, you're the light. You make my heart open wide up. And daily, it's hard to see, but you show me there's more to love. More than enough. Baby, I'm the darkness, you're the light. You make my heart open wide up. And daily, it's hard to see, but you show me there's more to love. More than enough.
Yeah. Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah. Always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah. With you the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. When you're miles away, yeah. You can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside.
상큼함 맥스, 칼로리 X, 맛있는 탐스 제로. 요즘 제일 탐나는 제로, 탐스 제로. 같이 떠나볼래?
아침은 라떼, 홀릭 점심은 라떼, 홀릭 저녁엔 라떼, 홀릭 둥글하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀릭. 달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타 라떼 홀릭.
질성사이다 제로. 그래 걱정 빼고 고민 빼고 망설이 빼고 This is zero life. 없어도 되는 건 빼고 질성사이다 제로. Okay, Phoenix, let's
대로 난 지치지 않아 무게 올려 보스팅의 맛으로 보이 라이벌 not the rebel 어제 쓰러져도 다시 높여 내 시벨 칼로리 제로 뛰어 피곤한 날 리셋 버핏 심장을 뛰게 해 이러니 버킷 리스트 Hot six 날 다시 깨우는 마법같이 Hot six 온몸에 그 강한 짜릿함이 Hot six Phoenix 마법같이 Hot six Hot six
2022 Hot 6 GSL Super Tournament Season 2.
GSL Super Tournament returns here. Another shockingly one-sided series there. Bunny 3-0ing Hero. I can't believe it, man.
I am surprised. I am very surprised by this result, especially
Crazy.
considering, you know, how good Hero has become. Like, Bunny's unbelievable, and the DreamHack Finals was one of the best StarCraft 2 finals we've had in, it feels like, so long.
Yeah.
And so, like, coming into this one, I was thinking, like, okay, these are two titans of the game. They're going to butt heads. Like, we're really going to do a deep dive into PvT again and get a little bit weird with it after that previous Grand Finals. But instead, just, like, a clean 3-0. And you could tell that Hero was kind of trying to play the mind games quite a bit, but maybe he went a little too far with that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
It did seem like, you know, he came out with some very cool ideas, but then it made it very hard for him when those didn't perfectly work out. And you know, Bunny just pushed and came through and killed.
Yeah, that's what he does.
It's very straightforward, and you know, that's one of the problems when you try to do a crazy mind game is these Terran pushes are sort of engineered to be a catch-all for most anything. Like that hidden third base that Hero took. It's like, that's so cool. But Bunny's just sitting there like, oh, okay. And then he sees what he thinks is the third base. It's actually the fourth, and it's like, yeah, this will also kill you if you're on 4 bases. This doesn't really matter.
Adding a base doesn't make it
Adding
easier
a base
to
doesn't
defend.
actually help. In fact, you know, it only confuses Bunny before he kills you regardless. So, anyways, very different matchup here. Very different players now as we go into the second best of 5 of Day 2 of the Super Tournament. DRG versus Ryung, a Zerg versus Terran.
Yeah, and this is a little bit of a mismatch, although on paper it might not look like that because these are two good players. I mean, DRG definitely has the edge in terms of form, but historically, DRG, his ZBT has been really good. In Ryung as of late, and also historically, his TVZ has been quite bad. I mean, like,
Right.
just to be completely honest about it, I was looking up some of his stats before we came in today, and I think he's lost his last 4 tournament TVZ series without winning a single game to a Laser, RagnaroK, and Solar, if I'm not mistaken. I actually can't find my notes, so I don't know who he played, but yeah, it's been a rough go of it for Ryung lately in this matchup, and DRG is just a killer, man. Like, these guys are veterans, tried and true, and I think Ryung is really going to have to come up with something special here if he's going to win this series.
Well, he struggles in the matchup from time to time, so we're going to see where he's at now. I think DRG is the right kind of test for him, and we're actually ready to go into that best of 5 right now. Or as they say, game start.
Sir, DRG. Terran, Ryung.
By the way, one thing that absolutely blew my mind is when we met with our producer before starting the show today, we were getting some interesting stats about the players and their histories.
Yeah.
And we were told that this is the first official offline match between Dongregu and Ryung in 10 years. 10 years. Oh, hey, guys, all the way from Seattle and from DC, rooting for DRG and Bunny.
Welcome, guys.
Gonna be happy about Bunny with that 3-0 win.
Yeah, Bunny just destroying here. And by the way, that stat, if it's correct, is insane.
Yeah, that's like, these guys have been with StarCraft 2 from pretty much the very beginning, if not the beginning.
But I guess there were periods where Ryung wasn't quite qualified, and that was when DRG was really at his best. So I guess there might have been some moments where, you know, we had GSLs they weren't both in, but this is kind of funny to see.
Even looking at the match history here on the bottom of the screen, 0-0 offline. So, like, I guess they're not counting the stats from like 10 plus years ago.
Yeah, or it might have been like an MLG or something like that they're talking about.
Yeah, I think it was like a GSL like season 5 or something in like
was it?
2012. I mean, don't quote me on that. I could be wrong, but it had some ancient StarCraft. And it's just baffling because, like, these guys, like, they're just... you would think that they have hit each other way more often than that.
Well, I mean, when you think of, like, how many times, like, you've seen, I don't know, Dark fight Rogue or, one of these, Maru fight, I don't know, anybody. I mean, you get what I'm saying. Like, that these guys have been so dominant and have encountered each other so many times before. But I guess these guys really just don't play each other. Now, there are obviously tons of online tournaments always happening at StarCraft 2.
Right.
I mean,
so we're talking about offline tournaments.
Yeah, so we're talking about basically a live event, like a studio event like this. But yeah, isn't that funny? They just don't really encounter each other.
It's crazy.
Now, DRG does have a better record with the online events. But I want to see how Ryung plays here. Ryung, this guy, he was like a superstar in the first couple years of StarCraft. This was one of the players that was mentored by Slayer's Boxer. Slayer's Boxer was like...
That's right.
First, or I guess you could say second generation StarCraft 1 best player in the world. And, he made a team at the start of StarCraft 2. It's called Slayers. And Ryung really was like one of the heavy-hitting Terran players of the entire world for a while.
That's a trip down memory lane. I haven't thought of Slayer's team in so long, but yeah, Ryung, I mean, that was like an all-Terran lineup almost, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right, yeah.
Ryung,
almost
MMA,
entirely.
Boxer, I mean, that was...
It was a crazy, fun, and exciting time. And then, he also seemed, by the way, to be one of these players that thrived in these sort of team environments.
Like a team house practice environment.
I know people get like a little bit wistful when they talk about team houses and like, oh, the pros need to be in team houses still. And I'm like, well, that nobody wants to be in a team house if you can, have your own place and stream from home.
I can speak from experience that it's very good for practice and very bad for your mental health.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like
I need space, man.
15 guys sleeping on bunk beds in a Korean apartment. Like that might be an exciting idea to you, person that's not doing it. But but with the way basically the ecosystem has changed, where now all these guys can make enough money streaming that everybody's got a apartment, some big, some small, depending on the size of their streams. And then what I like about that is it's moved a lot of the training to a space that can be observed from online.
Yeah.
Back in the old days, it was like everybody was playing, but it was all opaque. And, that was cool because you had these groups of people get together and practice. But now I think it's opened the game up for everybody. Now if you want to learn the game, you can just go to these guys' streams and ask them questions.
Yeah, the online side of practice is so much more fun. I do remember back like in the Pro League days, it was very rare to actually see a lot of top pros stream out of the Korean scene.
Well, not only that, but you have these guys, if they weren't like the top 4 players in the team, I mean, they get to like basically play one pro match maybe every 1 to 2 months. So it was this very punishing environment where, it's hard to thrive, where now it's a little bit better. But the whole reason why I was bringing this up is it seems like Ryung has not had that kind of success since being in the kind of streaming ecosystem that is, very prevalent, and pretty much, if you're going to be a pro player, you're streaming as another source of revenue.
It's a good observation. He has had a little bit of an uptick in performance as of late, but TVZ is still a very tough matchup for him. And coming up here against DRG, it's going to be a tall order for him to break that losing streak and win this series. And he did open for a CC first opening, but this isn't the CC first at a 2-base timing that we often see from Terrans that can be so deadly. He added a very quick third CC, and behind this light pressure, he's just going to be trying to macro up back at home. So we'll see exactly what his game plan is in the coming minutes, if he's going to, just try to hunker down and actually adding 2 factories. Okay. Huh. It's not exactly what I would have expected. 3 factories? Is he switching into mech?
I think he's switching into mech. Now, I don't know how smoothly this transition can be. Usually, if you're going to go mech,
double wow.
You do it very, very early on, and you have kind of a slow game. Now, mech is never as popular as bio. I think there's a reason for that, right? It's bio allows you to be a little bit more active. It takes longer to get stuff out of factories in the game where you have an amount that's meaningful. And so the Zerg can kind of run away with the game when you do that. But what Ryung's doing is he's basically behaving like this is a normal bio game. And he's masking his intentions pretty well. Back at home, he's got the factories, he's got the armories. But, we got to see if DRG is wise to this, right? Eventually, you should see more and more bio units. And I was going to say, he should be faking that he's going into the main here, because if he actually does it, he's going to lose that, and then he's going to have nothing on the map, and he'll die to a counterattack. So this is all about appearances here for Ryung.
And it's a very good appearance, too. If I was DRG in this situation, I would not be expecting this mech transition. It's rare that we see Terran commit so heavily on the bio. I mean, this is 3 full medevacs of units. It's 30 supply and bio and Widow Mines. And, oh, that's unfortunate. Losing a full medevac of Marines there is painful this early in the game. As you said, it's really bio that's a lot more flexible and maneuverable on the map. And so it's going to be tough for Ryung to, you know, hunker down and defend perfectly unless he has a decent number of Marines up until he gets, you know, maxed and fully set up.
But the problem I have just looking at this, and I got to be critical of Ryung here, and look, I like strategies like this because it's fun to see how they work, but I think we're also getting to see why this doesn't work, is look at how much creeps on the map.
Yeah, the tempo is very slow here.
I mean, this is like, you know, it's funny, like, if you end up in a mismatch, a lot of times, like, if let's say you're way better than the other player, and depending on the roles in the matchup, maybe you are kind of the passive one, like the Zerg is a lot of times in this matchup. The Zerg is, like, basically playing single player in a way where it's like you're going to get so much of the map here. Keep in mind, Terran has to eventually hack and saw his way through all this creep.
Not even any missile turrets here.
Yeah. And, you know, when you go for bio and spend money on those upgrades and then stop and go for, you know, factories, that's a long transition time. And, yeah, I mean, no turrets, nothing to defend here.
Yeah, turret's just now getting up in the main base. He will be able to deflect the Muta Harass with those Thors, only losing 8 SCVs, so not a complete disaster, but will he be able to hold off on this push? The Hellbats are clubbed, and the Banelings get really good connections on them, and that's a lot of splash damage down here. So DRG, although he might not be able to use that as an opportunity to really breach this third base position, it's nice to trade out for those units. And yeah, as you said, Tasteless, it just feels like the tempo with this composition is really quite slow. And I mean, mech is a very difficult composition to play because unless you play it perfectly, it doesn't really work. It's the kind of thing that, you know, in theory, if you play it to perfection, it should be so powerful. Like,
but
you're making the most powerful army in the game.
I mean, it's so map dependent too. I mean, this is a huge map. I mean, Zerg can pretty easily grow into both the top left and the bottom right here before you're going to be able to play that kind of turtling mech style. And, you know, I worry here. Every other base is kind of hard to get. I mean, there's basically one base that maybe Terran can get, and that's at 3 o'clock, a little bit below 3 o'clock, I guess.
Even then, it's a tough position to take, right? Against Mutiling Baneling, and the creep spread's almost there, as we're getting to see right now. So
this is going to start to look like one of those campaign missions where you start out as Terran on the map, and the whole map's covered in creep, where you got to move out on it.
Yeah, like kill all the bases to get the achievements or something. Well, they're going to come in the main base and try and deal with this Mutaflock, which has grown quite a bit. Missile turrets aren't too scary for this Muta ball anymore. It's really just a splash damage for the Thor that's going to be keeping it at bay. So Ryung has to be on point with his defense. And just looking at the mini-map, and our observer is highlighting, Zerg is absolutely consuming this, all the way up at 96 workers, building a massive bank, 3K resources in total, while fully maxed. And I mean, that's even morphing in Banelings, right? It's making this army even more expensive, and beyond that, 3K res in the bank is so much, and here we go, DRG going to try and trade some of this out. Baneling's coming in, looking for another connection. That's a great armor shred there with the Raven. We'll see if the Thors are able to capitalize on this. Some damage coming in on those Mutalisks as they magic box the first Thor there on the third base, but a lot of this ground army for Ryung is getting traded out.
Now look at these key units that are picked off. By the way, most of the mutas just get away. So he goes back. Now watch the supply spike back up. 13 more mutas coming here. 32 lings. Excuse me, Banelings are going to be next. He's probably going to hit this same spot over and over and over again. And it's a real uphill fight. I mean, when you see the Zerg max out like this and the minerals and the gas collect in the bank, where Ryung right now is not maxed out, he's at 200 gas.
Yeah, unless Ryung is able to stabilize on this position, I feel like DRG will just continue to keep hammering here, either on the third base or on the fourth base, and just as you said, continue to remax, because, I mean, this 3K res bank, the only thing DRG is really lacking for right now is gas, but as long as he's able to make enough Banelings to at least trade out with the Hellbats, he's still going to get value out of Zerglings. Because any kind of Thors he kills, any siege tanks he kills, as long as he continues to reset the unit count for Ryung, his economy is just going to propel him to a victory. Because, I mean, the creep is everywhere right now. DRG's on 97 drones, and he has so many bases.
Yeah. DRG, I think, could even grow a little bit more here. Oh, guys, he's going to do that. You can see with the hatchery coming down here. But, yeah, he's just going to try to hit another location again. Looks like he wanted to buy a few more Banes here. And in this case, he goes for the planetary because why not, right? I mean, you could just wipe that location out. It's going to be swapped on with another command center. Now, when you do this, you do have to be a little bit cautious here because you do this a couple times with just Banes onto a command center, and maybe the Terran's going to have some recovery potential.
It's a very expensive trade, but he just has the economy to continue to do it. And Ryung now getting the first counter damage in what feels like forever here. The 7 drones go down to these Hellions. That is a nice harass option from him. But like, you got to get a sinking feeling in your stomach a little bit if you're Ryung and you're scanning this. I mean, you probably want to take this 12 o'clock base as your 5th base, but it already has creep. There's a base right below it with a high Vespene gas. It's a very difficult position to play from here for Ryung. He's been so passive, and if he wants to stabilize, he's going to have to play even more passive up until he takes that 5th base.
Yeah, this is rough. Again, frustrating to play against Mac because it's kind of hard to ever really take the fight you want to take, but
it's tough to kill him.
It's tough to finish him off.
It's like you're playing an Age of Empires game.
Yeah, it's hard to close it out. But I got to say, man, I mean, Ryung's still in this, but the numbers don't lie here. The amount of the map that DRG has. By the way, there's something to be said about this is the first strat Ryung comes out with. I feel like it doesn't show a lot of confidence.
Maybe this is working for him in practice, or maybe he thinks that, if he's able to hunker down and get that 5th base up and defend on 10 gases, he will be able to eke out a game in the super late game, right? But it's just kind of a scary tightrope walk you got to do, because one overextension or one bad engagement and Ryung loses too many key units, suddenly DRG is going to remax because his economy is absolutely massive. And I mean, to Ryung's credit, he has been able to stabilize on these 4 bases quite well. He's not taking too much damage.
It's true.
The early game was a little bit scary with the first Mutaflot coming in, picking off SCVs, and then the first couple of attacks over here on this 3rd base. But since then, he's been doing fine. My main concern right now for Ryung is not having a 5th base, because oftentimes when we see Terrans play TVZ, when they're not playing mech, when they're playing bio with a good number of siege tanks and then into ghosts, the Zerg strategy is going to be to contain Terran on 4 bases because they can't really get that ultimate composition until they take Gas Geysers number 9 and number 10. And Ryung, he's playing an even more gas-intensive army composition, going for the Thors like this, playing mech, and right now he's adding ghosts, and it's only now because that he's maxed that he's actually starting to bank some gas. But if he loses any key units here, it's going to be really tough for him to replace them because the Vespene Geysers in the main base are eventually going to run out, and he won't really have the gas economy to actually make the cost-efficient units he needs to keep up with the Zerg.
And if you look at the gas economy for DRG, I mean, he's maxed out, but he's banking just an absurd amount. Now, that matters more for Zerg than the other races because basically you can remake your entire army in a couple seconds with all the hatcheries on the map. So what happens is, and I think what DRG is doing is instead of kind of engaging over and over, he's going to back up and wait for this 5th base. It's being taken now. So this is kind of the moment. He says, okay, try to set up a new position, then I'm going to throw everything at you. And I think we're going to have that moment happen here now.
Yep, and Festers coming in are able to neuroparasite a siege tank and a Thor, getting a nice trade here as DRG, as the Ultralisks also coming in, taking out another siege tank. And as we were talking about earlier, those are a lot of key units going down. I think that Thor will survive.
Yeah, forgive me, guys. But again, he's going to max out immediately.
Yeah, he maxes out again, and this is just going to be DRG's MO, I think, moving forward, is to keep Terran on just 4 bases, and maybe we'll see him make a big swell of Banelings and try and bust this planetary down yet again. But I feel like he doesn't even really need to do that. He can just continue to hammer the 5th base position and chip away at the key units that Ryung is making, because Ryung, like, if he continues to lose Thors and siege tanks and eventually ghosts, it's going to be such a tough spot for him. And DRG's bank right now, like, it's very rare that you see a bank like this for Zerg. 7K minerals and 5K gas is just unbelievable.
It's absurd, man, especially when compared to where the Terran's at here. So another attack in here. Now, will he just go for the Banes onto the planetary again here? Looks like he wants to go for some SCVs here instead.
actually going for the Thor. The Ultralisks will clean up that planetary fortress, so Ryung's economy set back just a bit. And even if he does take those gases over there at the 5th base, it's going to be hard-pressed for economies. Now it's actually minerals that he's really struggling with. Oh my god, the Changelings are blocking the Thor.
I know the Thor's doing 360s.
It's like, guys, let me move. Guys, talk to me.
So he wipes out that position. It's going to remix again. And really, you just need to look at the supplies here. 144. Zerg still with, you know, a comical amount of resources in the bank.
Yeah, this whole, wow, he's actually going to come in. The Changelings boxed it in for so long, and then he cleans it up with Lings and an Ultra. I mean, this whole time I was kind of harping on, like, the 9th and the 10 gas geysers, but actually, like, DRG has been so effective with these attacks coming in and taking out Thors, taking out Hellions, taking out Siege Tanks. It's actually minerals that Ryung is really wanting for right now. And
yeah, I mean, this is honestly, Ryung just picked a very obsolete way to play. This is not going to work against somebody who's, you know, a round of 16 GSL SuperTournament player. I mean, this is just, there's just no way to recover. I mean, this is, you know, we could talk about, you know, yeah, GG. We could talk about, you know, the early game all we want, but the reality is, like, if you're not playing in a way that lets you engage with the Zergs usually win by just getting enough bases and reacting correctly. And, you know, DRG, all he had to do was not overextend, and he won that. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah, oftentimes at the top level, the way that we see TVZ play out is either the Terran is able to go for a killing blow either on 2 or 3 bases, and if they don't, their win condition is to get to 5 bases.
Right.
Siege Tanks, Ghost, Widow Mines.
Turtle, camp, make the Zerg overextend. He was on 4 bases for some of that game.
And even when he took the 5th base, he never really saturated it. I mean, by that point, DRG had already hamstringed him because he had built enough of a war chest that once that 5th base came in, he's just like, okay, well, I have 15K resources in the bank. Let's see how long you can keep trading out with me, man.
We're going to go to Waterfall for map 2. I wonder if Ryung's going to start doing proxy Raxes there.
Maybe.
I think we're going to get the hints of if this is kind of a desperation play or not, but Ryung opted out of anything remotely standard there. And honestly, a style we saw maybe 4 years ago. Not really that popular anymore. I think we even saw it a couple times in Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm, but it's sort of an old idea. You know, people have optimized their openings and style of play so much, it's kind of hard to pull a caper like that off. Anyways, guys, game 2's ready.
Game start. Sir, DRG. Terran, Ryung.
And I know we're talking about how that TVZ style is a little bit antiquated, but I did really like the opening there for Ryung, even though it's kind of like offbeat a little bit. Like making 30 supply or so of Marines with the medevacs to the Widow Mines and trying to feign that biopressure and then going into mech is a kind of unique play that even when players were doing mech, I frankly didn't see very often, but maybe that's because I didn't watch much TVZ back in the day. But I'm just struggling to see exactly how it works if you are able to, like, how do you get that 5th base up, you know? It's tough. I imagine if you don't take any damage during your mech transition, then maybe, like, you have to play the perfect game, though.
I don't see how it works anyways, because, look, Zergs are so good at expanding, even when there's biopressure out, that it's like, the idea that you would have biopressure that you can't really do that much with, and therefore you can't really take fights. So Zerg's going to expand anyways, and then you're going to slow the whole game down and do like a hard shift into factories and all this other stuff. It's just a lot to try to pull off. Where you know the Zerg's just going to be staying back and surveying you, and you know we even saw that moment. You know he had to spend so much to switch into mech. He didn't even have turrets to defend. You know, and I think what DRG did. You know, honestly, that was probably one of the duller games we're going to have today, but, you know, he just didn't overextend. He's like, okay, I see what you're doing here. Well, I'm going to stay back. All the mech upgrades are a little bit later, by the way.
That's true, too.
Yeah.
The double armory was quite late.
Yeah, so, you know, Zerg's already upgrading the units they're going to use anyways. So, I mean, there's a lot of problems with it.
I think it just kind of loops back to the reason why we don't see mech in general as this Reaper comes in. Zergling's about to pop. Actually, almost got that drone.
Yeah, I mean, Mech, but it's funny because Mech really did seem to have its moments, and there's a couple players who've been able to pull stuff off with it, like Gumiho's done some cool things. We've seen some cool games from Special as well, where he'll bring a Mech play out. But
yeah, it's a little unfortunate they met in round 1 for that reason, is they kind of have a similar play style, which can be really refreshing to watch. But I think it's the kind of thing that if you play it perfectly, or if you play like a textbook game and not too much goes awry, maybe like 95% perfect, then it is a very powerful composition. Like, you're making the best units in the game, right? Terran Mech with Ghosts it's pretty insane.
Phenomenal.
It's just so hard to get there, and with the way Legacy of the Void works as well, the game is so fast-paced and players are able to macro so quickly. Is actually we have a ton of more barracks. There's no factory behind this. Well, I like this mix-up from Ryung.
So this is, again, a very unorthodox way to play, but it's kind of the opposite of what we saw in the last game here. The last one, he's going to switch his tech and try to kind of have this surprise mid-game that maybe the other player can't deal with. This one, Ryung's just going to put the pedal to the floor.
Yeah.
He's gonna turn it up to 90 miles an hour here, and just start to try to push and try to snowball the game. But the problem is that he's not developing behind this. Now, if it works, it's great. If it doesn't work, it's terrible, right? So there's one of two ways this cast can go for us. Either we're going to be praising him for being a genius and winning, and it's going to look so cool. But if this doesn't work, then you're suddenly stuck with literally no tools at your disposal to recover from.
Just bio, no medevacs, no factory, and I like this. I mean, whether it wins or loses, I like this as a mix-up from Ryung.
I like this build a lot better than the last one.
Especially given the best of 5 series planning, right? In game number 1, he tried this extremely slow style. He had the 30 supply of bio early, and besides that, it was just nothing but passivity from him. And this game just completely doing a 180. He's denying scouting here with the Reapers. DRG is able to see the tech lab and the reactor there on the low ground, but
that doesn't tell him anything.
Exactly. I mean, he could have a factory behind it. The only real way that DRG would be able to figure this out is if he came in with a speed overlord, which he is not opting to do this game. So this has the potential to really catch him by surprise, and that's a lot of Marines in the SCVs! Bit by bit!
Here we go! So, I mean, here's the thing. This could just kill DRG. It's important to remember that, okay, he's not going to see this. This is going to go right through his blind spot.
I think he might have an idea.
Okay,
yeah, he already started the Baneling Nest, though. So the response is coming. The question is it going to be too slow here for DRG? Only 34 army supply. A lot of that is tied up in these 8 queens.
Now, you don't have that many stims with the Marines. That's important to remember, too. There's nothing that's going to be healing this.
Oh, the Baneling Nest is in the natural expansion.
Oh, my God.
He's going to have no splash damage. The counterattack is able to intercept the reinforcements there for Ryung, but I think the main problem right now is this army is too big and the spine crawlers are only halfway done at that ramp.
The problem is that I think Zerg can kind of sack this base if he needs to. Again, it's not a fast-moving army. Okay, there's the first stim.
Yeah, he's got to commit. Dropping a mule to try and block the natural ramp. I love that play here by Ryung, but DRG gets a really nice flank there where the Zerglings coming in. A lot of Marines going down. The Queens are taking a fair bit of damage here with the transfuses and the bio ball. It's getting smaller, but so is the Zerg army.
That's it. It's so funny because it looked like that might have just been perfect. The Marines are going to continue to come in here. There are spines stunned now. A couple more lings are going to hatch.
I think he's just out of steam, though.
It.
It's so close, man. I thought when that Baneling Nest went down that maybe he has enough bio just to kind of, come over here and run over the Zerg. But the Queens, they take so much damage, and DRG, his control was so on point going in with the flank.
DRG laughing, by the way, at the end of that game. He's like, all right, what else you got, man? You're doing your weird stuff to me.
It's a pretty fun situation, though. I mean,
that was
win or lose, you kind of got to laugh at a game like that one, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean,
he's really enjoying himself.
Well, I mean, it's also, I think, becoming more and more clear. Ryung does not want to try to play a normal game. I think probably because he can't play a normal game against DRG. Well, by the way, that strat was cool, but there's something to be said about the fact that the Baneling Nest is denied.
And it still doesn't work.
You just killed it with Lings and Queens.
Yeah, I think maybe I wasn't paying too much attention to what the Marines were focus firing, so I don't know if he was A-moving them or if he was focusing down the Queens, but it felt like the Zerglings stayed alive in the back for so long. And it was mostly Queens going down, which is not what you want because the energy is just going to translate into transfuses, and the Queens aren't much DPS, right?
Well, also, once he went back up to the high ground where it's like, no, I'm not going to fight you until I have more Lings. You know, beautifully done. I did like the mule landing on the ramp. That was cool.
Smart, yeah.
But ultimately, that's why you don't want to use that strategy.
Yeah,
you get high up enough, that's not going to beat somebody who's just, you know, crossing their T's and dotting their I's. We're going to go to Tropical Sacrifice. We're going to see if Ryung is going to be our Tropical Sacrifice here in Game 3. Or if he can come back, because right now DRG looking pretty strong. Let's go to that game now.
Game start. Sir, DRG. Terran, Ryung.
Man, you called it right after game 1, didn't you, Tasteless? You knew the 2X was coming.
Well, it's like, how many more ways can you try to, like, you know, basically rug pull?
The Overlord pad thing.
Oh, no. Wait, I'm sorry.
DRG might actually see this. I don't see a waypoint, so I don't know if it's going to be shift queued anywhere, but I think it's just going to spot the barracks. Oh, this is the worst case scenario.
Right.
This is a scout that costs DRG absolutely nothing, and he's spotting the 2X.
Move the Overlord so it doesn't see it. Oh, he's going to send 3 drones.
4 drones, in fact, so...
Yep.
I mean, with this timing and the barracks are so close to the natural expansion, I think he might just be able to fully deny at least one of them.
Well, this...
and the one in the back,
This
too.
is modern, by the way. You hide the 3rd barracks over there, but this is... All right, Ryung knows it's a bad day.
It's a bad day in the office, and you can really tell that Ryung is kind of digging deep in his tool chest to find any strategy he can bust out here as one SCV goes down. But, I mean, even more SCVs are going to have to come out for Ryung to continue the production here against these 4 drones.
The thing is, it's going to be 1 Marine coming out, which also isn't really a threat. You know what I mean? 1 Marine's actually just not that good against anything.
No, not even drones is...
Yeah, drones can kind of sort of fight you.
Oh, no, the SCV gets caught. Pathing there. 2 SCVs already going
MVP
down.
drones.
This is like that Legacy of the Void cinematic where like the probe works in the pylon, but this time it's the drones killing everything from the Terran. Their hero moment, as I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Ryung chap out very soon.
Yeah,
Tasteless.
well, I mean, I
this
just
is
don't
a
think he can
disaster.
recover. This is like one of the funnier moments. You're just seeing drones kind of pick off you know, anything else that comes out. Now, the barracks, it looks like they're going to finish, but you know, the function of this build is to start to push a hatchery and do damage. Now, I don't know exactly what the math is on how many minerals were lost, but I do know that really there's like no momentum right now from the Terran.
I think the win condition here for Ryung is to build up enough Marines where nothing else matters, and DRG is doing the smart thing and just moving out with this initial group of Zerglings and, you know, whittling away at the Marine count, so to speak. Is these are pretty cost-efficient trades for him. Marines, as you said earlier, they're not very good in small numbers kiting away as the Zerglings just continue to connect, and this is going about as bad as it could possibly go here for Ryung.
Yeah, and, you know, now the Lings are going to come down here. Keep in mind, sorry, is Ling speed being made? I guess he doesn't have a gas, never mind.
He doesn't need it.
Yeah, he doesn't need it. He can just keep making these Lings. And again, you know, the Marine, it's not faster than the Zergling. So, like, there's a command center being made behind this.
More Marines coming, or more Lings coming too.
Yeah, he forced a lift. And, you know, now, again, there's no Marines back at home.
There's no Marines, but TRG would be, it would be tough for him to really get up the ramp just because of repair, but
sure, but I mean,
tempo-wise,
this just gets worse and worse is what I'm getting at. I mean, he's going to have to repair until these barracks can get all the way back there, land, make Marine, and then drive the Zerglings out. Oh, never mind. There's Marines back there.
Tall order.
Sorry, everybody. I thought there was no Marines there.
Well, Ryung is going to do...
Probably going to do a Baneling bust.
Oh, that's actually a really smart idea. That didn't even occur to me.
Let's see if he does it. I could be wrong. He might just go back into normal play.
It would be a winning move if he went for it, but the thing is, I'm not sure whether DRG has that information, because I think in a vacuum there's kind of 2 ways that Ryung could really try to come back from this, and one is doing what he's doing right now, which just throw down 2 more command centers and try to play the longest game of your life and just grind your way back, get up to 4 or 5 bases and go like Ghost Mech or something. And the other option is you land those barracks back at home and just keep making Marines and you just go again. So if Ryung had continued to add barracks and just like went for an all-in, then maybe a Baneling bust doesn't actually break that because there's too much bio.
Right.
I mean, in this case, Ryung is being about as greedy as possible. He's going for all the add-ons. He's going double engineering bay. He's going 3CC. But DRG's just going to play it safe. He knows that he is miles ahead, and he's going to drone up, take that third base, and play a nice standard game from here.
Yeah, but it's going to be a very uphill one here for Ryung. Again, you know, there's something to the fact that he did weird stuff in every single game. Right, and I think you've got to be able to pull out these weird strats. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against weird strats. I'm not one of those guys that thinks like you got to play the game a certain way. But the problem is that you can't only do weird stuff because then you become that guy where everybody goes, oh, well, he's going to cheese you or do something odd.
What is going on here? These little cat.
I never noticed there was a little campfire down there.
Like cat goblins doing this little like campfire ritual.
Yeah, look at him down there. What's going on down
there?
I've never noticed that.
Are those homes? Are they like little hobbit houses?
Something like that. Little caves.
What's the lore behind these guys?
I never even knew that was down there. I never saw that on the map before.
That's so cool.
It's like little Ewoks or something. So Roach is where it's going to be. I guess this is in some ways better than just going for Banes.
Yeah, this is nice because it's kind of good against both worlds, right? If Ryung went for a bunch of bio, then you're going to have Roaches to deal with it.
Right.
If he went for 3CC, then you're going to put a little bit of pressure on, maybe, you know, kill some of the bio count. Maybe you'll get some SCVs that come in to repair the ramp. So I like this play here from DRG. Just keep up the tempo. Keep the game kind of simple. Because Ryung right now, he's playing about as greedy as possible. He's even going for a CC on the low ground here. It's the third base.
Yeah, now the third, I don't blame him for trying to take that, but this is going to be a real squishy spot positionally here. Now these Marines, they don't have you know, medevacs over them. So he can just intercept this.
Yeah, the factory's only 90% done, and Ryung recognizing the situation, realizes he has to stim out of this, but a little bit flustered as he actually attacks his own depot there for a moment. That's his second stim, so these bio units are very low on HP.
Yeah, I mean, eventually there's not going to be stims left, and these Marines are going to be touched and then die.
All right, DRG going to rotate down to the third base now, force the lift off and kill some more SCVs there, as all of Ryung's hard work building up this economy is gone away in an instant. 13 SCVs already fallen, and now this bio army very badly injured. He's going to kite forward, try and pick off some of the Ravagers. Third stim coming in, and DRG knows there's no medevacs. He just has to pull back and not engage the stim Marines. And he will eventually be able to win this game 100 supply to 47.
Yeah, I mean, this is an inevitability right now. Another shot comes out here, blowing up the depots. The Lings, he just wants to make sure it's the Ravagers in the front. He doesn't want the Lings to come in when the Marines are stimmed.
DRG continuing to press forward here, the natural expansion, and Ryung right now just kind of digesting this loss, I suppose, giving it a dissolve, trying to fight, but...
Oh my God, all right, that's gonna be GG here. DRG with a very impressive 3-0 versus a pretty eccentric set of games here from Ryung.
Yeah, you can really feel Ryung just trying everything possible, everything imaginable to try and claw his way back into this series, but TBZ is just a really rough spot for him right now in his matchups, and DRG going to be advancing now to the round of 8.
Yeah, it's a rough one for Ryung. I mean, it is like sort of a statement on where he's, you know, at compared to the other pros here. And, you know, whenever you come into a tournament like this, you got to do what you think is going to be best for you, you know? But the problem is like, you know, clearly he wasn't confident in his standard style. And then the kind of cheese he was trying to bring out, it just isn't going to work against DRG, you know? So he falls flat. And clearly DRG is a better player and will be advancing. We're going to go to an interview now with DRG, see how he's feeling. He's moved on to the round of 8.
DRG defeats Ryung with a clean sweep, and he moves on to round of 8. Congratulations. Thank you.
3-0 스코어가
Wow,
나왔습니다.
3-0.
이동원 선수 상대로 3-0 스코어.
You 3-0 Ryung just now, so how do you feel?
그냥 마음 편히 오긴 왔는데.
Well, I came here with an empty mind,
좀 많이 따른 것
and generally I think I was lucky at the end of the day.
최근 공식전에서 모두 테란 때문에 발목이 잡혔었는데요.
Recently, you were bogged down by the Terran players in offline matches, so how do you feel about that?
제가 늘 하던 플레이에서 그냥 좀 신경 쓸 것들만 몇 개 추가해서 플레이.
I mean, I kind of added some, I kind of supplemented my usual builds, and it turned out to be pretty effective today. I mean, let's talk about Day2. Was the late mechanic from the opponent not that intimidating for you? I mean, I was a little bit startled, but I definitely felt like I had the build advantage. in the past,
네, 계속 뮤탈 뽑으면서
I should just I would normally just tech into the layer and make middle lists, but I've been making some changes these days.
되게 주요하게 먹혔던 것 같아요.
And you know, playing slowly was definitely the key to the win.
이 뒷심 있는 플레이가 가능했던 거거든요. 그런데 워터폴 역시
In
여왕이
Waterfall,
오리를 막는 1등 공신이었잖아요.
The Queen
그때
was
활짝
able to fend off
좀
the
어떤
army so well.
모습이었어요?
So can you talk us through it?
현우가 했어가지고 근데 제가 그때 쉽게
Bjorn actually tried to build before
똑같은 걸 또 하길래
and I fended off
어이가 없어서 제가 그렇게
that
만만하게
time,
싶어가지고
and then this time, you know, I was struck with the same build, so I had an easier time fending it off compared to the last
두
time.
분이 친분이 깊은 거에 비해서
I mean, DRG, you and Ryung are close friends, and this is an offline match between you guys in 7 years. So, how do you feel about that?
조금 그냥 옛날 전날부터 해오는 선수랑 게임하는 느낌이라서.
I mean, it felt kind of reminiscing
올해
playing
박수
against a
선수 GSL
long,
성적이
close friend of
굉장히
mine.
꾸준했고 뭐 10강을 늘
I mean,
통과했고
DRG, you're a very
연속
consistent player. You always make it to the round of 6, the round of 4 in GSL season. So, what is your objective? What is your goal for GSL Super Tournament?
발목을 잡을 거라고 생각했는데 남은 게 이제
You know, I had a feeling that Protoss would be my biggest obstacle, but so far all the pros have been eliminated, so things are looking good. So it should be pretty smooth sailing from here now on.
굉장히 마음에 드시겠네요.
So you're pretty happy with the brackets right now, right? Yes, I'm very
8강
satisfied.
상대는 김준호를 3대 0으로 잡은
So your round of 8
이재선
opponent will be
선수입니다.
Bunny, who just
우리
defeated
너무나
Hero
놀라서
3-0.
정말 잘하는 이재선
And you know,
선수인데
Bunny is looking
이재선
so
선수는
scary right
어떠세요?
now. So what do you think about Bunny as your opponent?
팀원이라서 되게 까다롭기도 하고요.
I mean, he's my teammate, so it's going to be very tricky playing against him. And his momentum is looking so scary, so I'm a little worried right now.
2022년 처음부터 마지막까지 꾸준한 박수호 선수 계속해서
You know,
좋은 모습
from the beginning of
보여주고
2022
있는데요.
till the
마지막으로
end, you've been showing very consistent performance. So anything else you want to say before you go?
연도의 마지막 대회이니만큼
I mean, this is the last tournament of the year, so I want to yield good results and try to
다시 한번
wrap up the
8강
year
성공한
with
박수호
good results.
선수에게 축하의 박수
And that's it with the
부탁드립니다.
interview with DRG. Congratulations. Thank you.
네, 이상 박수호 선수
All right, well,
만나봤고요.
props to
계속해서
DRG.
다음 주
Look,
목요일
I
결승전
don't
함께
know
해봅니다.
exactly where he's at from those games. Obviously, he played very well. He shut down the cheese, but I think Ryung does that against any of the Zergs here, and those games look like that. So obviously, he's a strong player, but I think we need to wait until the round of 8 to kind of see where he's going to be.
Especially against
performing.
Bunny as an opponent. That's a tall order, man. Bunny is playing out of his mind right now. First championship finish at DreamHack, and then here taking out Hero, getting his revenge in round number 1. And Tasteless, next Thursday, Super Tournament Finals.
That's right. Come down to our finals. We also are going to be on Monday. Information was at the bottom of the screen. We got to go to a break. We'll be right back.
for a minute.
상큼함 맥스, 칼로리 X, 맛있는 탐스 제로. 요즘 제일 탐나는 제로, 탐스 제로. 같이 떠나볼래?
아침엔 라떼 홀릭, 점심엔 라떼 홀릭, 저녁엔 라떼 홀릭, 둥글하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀릭. 달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타 라떼 홀릭.
질성사이다 제로 그래 걱정 빼고 고민 빼고 망설임 빼고 This is zero life 없어도 되는 건 빼고 질성사이다 제로
Okay, Phoenix, let's go. Open your eyes, open your heart. 넘어가면 another rebel. 밤이 일어나지도 Phoenix 불타 두 배로 난 지치지 않아 무게 올려 보스팅의 맛으로 overdrive another rebel. 어제 쓰러져도 다시 높여내 10엔 칼로리 제로 뛰어 피곤한 날 리셋. 버핏 심장을 뛰게 해 이러니 bucket list. 날 다시 깨우는 마법같이 핫색 온몸에 그 강해자리 탐미 핫색 Phoenix 마법같이 핫색 핫색.
(2022) Hot 6 GSL Super Tournament Season 2.
GSL Super Tournament continues on. Another 3-0. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's not the result I expected coming into today. I thought the matches today would be a lot more close than they were on day one, but I guess these are all really one-sided matchups somehow. I don't know, man.
Now, one that I thought could be one-sided coming into this was Dark versus Sue. Sue's very good, but Dark is so strong ZVZ nowadays.
Yeah, and Sue's had a bit of a rough go of things coming back from military service, too. He's one of those players like Classic that is struggling to kind of adjust to the new meta and regain his old form, because this was one of the best Zergs in the world a long time ago when he was an SKT Zerg player, but of late, it's been a bit of a struggle for him to come back.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was...
goatee.
It's like, wait, who is
Look at
this?
that. It's like a young Korean Tasos over here. What's going on?
It is.
He's definitely going to 3-0 now.
That's a baller goatee, man. You think if he loses, he's going to shave it?
No, he's going to become a painter is what he's going to do with facial hair like that. You're going to tell me this guy was a professional photographer, I would have been like, of course, look at him. All right,
nice look.
I dig the new look.
Yeah, I didn't recognize Dark at first. I was like, wait, who is this guy in the
Is that one of the
booth?
camera guys down there, like getting ready to play?
Is somebody like doing tech support on his PC right now? Like, what's going on? But yeah, Dark should be the heavy favorite in this matchup, I think. I mean, Sue, we've just been kind of waiting for him. He has a million second-place GSL.
Well, this was like one of the big narratives with GSL was that, he kind of, the first Zerg player in the world that this was happening to was named Yellow, and he was always losing to Slayer's Boxer, and Sue is sort of the StarCraft 2 Yellow, where, we kind of hoped that he would eventually become a champion. It hasn't happened. It's become a bit of a curse, and frankly, the curse has only gotten worse because now this guy doesn't get to finals anymore.
It was like 5 or 6 GSL finals that he ended up getting second place in, which, I mean, even reaching that many finals is a feat in and of itself.
Absolutely. Many players get to one finals and never get there again.
It's going to be a lot of work for him to...
They get there and lose to Rogue or Maru, and then they never return.
It's going to be a lot of work for Sue to get up to that level again. It's not something that comes easily. There's a reason why it's rare for players to really succeed on that level. And we'll see if he's had some improvement coming into this series against Dark, but man, Dark is just such a killer, and especially in a mirror matchup, it can be really hard to get an edge. It's so technical, right?
Yeah, it's a lot about what happens in the early game, and can you deceive them? Data C to start things off, Dark versus Sue. Now, Dark has been a god for a long time in StarCraft 2.
Absolutely.
And the fact of the matter is he just hasn't fallen off. He's still incredibly strong. and still incredibly hungry to move up to the top and take another championship.
He's remarkably consistent. It feels like every single tournament that he's in, he's gunning for, if not a finals spot, then a quarterfinal or a semifinal spot.
Right.
We're getting ready to load up Data C. Zerg versus Zerg here.
More like Data Z, am I right? All right, we're ready. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, man.
We're almost at 5,000. That number? You notice they put a number up there?
No, I did not.
Yeah,
5,000?
we have a number for the number of matches we've had.
Whew. It's a lot of matches.
Zerg, Su.
Since nobody's doing anything too crazy, it seems like there's no early pool coming out just yet, I kind of want to take a moment and grieve for all the Protoss fans out there.
Yeah, dude, all our Protoss players are gone.
We had 3 Protoss players in the round of 16, and they played 3 series and they won 1 map.
Yeah, no third race here. This is basically Warcraft 2 or Command & Conquer.
Yeah, just Terrans and Zergs, I think, right now.
We did have a Season 2 Protoss champion.
4 Terrans, 2 Zergs or something like that.
Now, one of the things that's funnier about that is that Protoss have done, generally speaking, very well in Super Tournament, but not in Code S.
That is kind of the odd thing about this, and maybe that's because back in the day, Super Tournament was a bit more of a compressed format.
It was
whereas
4 days right in a row, back to back.
Yeah, and right now we're kind of doing this GSL style. It's like GSL Light here at Super Tournament, right? Where it's Monday, Thursday, and oftentimes the reason why people kind of thought that Protoss players succeeded in the Super Tournament format and like the weekend, like DreamHack-esque tournament format, but not in the GSL one is because if you can really, like Protoss is so stylistic that if you can have a week to prepare for one opponent in a ZVP or a TVP, you can kind of try to patch all the holes in your gameplay that they might try to exploit. Whereas in a weekend-style tournament, it's kind of, you can't really do a lot of prep for your first match because you also got to prep for the second match. It's more about being a well-rounded player, whereas, you know, Protoss can just come in guns blazing with all these weird strategies, and even if they come out with something new, you don't really have time to figure out the correct response, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
So maybe that's part of why Protoss isn't really succeeding in this Super Tournament, but it is still surprising. You know, I mean, we had many years with Protoss not winning a GSL Code S, but in that time we would have Zest win a Super Tournament. I don't know why I put myself on the spot like I'm going to list out Protoss names. Like actually, I'm blanking on these right now, but I mean, it feels like every year we would have
Hero
one or
had a lot of success. Classic won 1 as well.
It felt like every year we would have 1 or 2 Protoss champions for Super Tournament, but not going to be the case right now, as I think it's one of the most Terran and Zerg heavy Super Tournaments ever. Really here at GSL, as not a single Protoss is making the top 8.
So this game they've both gone for double expands, and so far it's almost completely identical builds.
Yeah, I've been watching this while I speak, and I'm like, we don't need to talk about
Artos
this.
and me have joked about this in the past, where like sometimes it's like you just watch for the change in the production tab. Now, a lot of times somebody has already made a bunch of lings, and so one guy's defending, the other guy is obviously attacking, but nobody's attacking now, which you don't have as often.
No, it's just completely mirrored all the way through 3 bases.
This is going to be a heavy macro ZVC. That doesn't mean that the action won't pick up in a little bit here, but it does mean that, like, you know, we're going to have kind of an interesting mid-game here where we get to really see. Oh, hold on a second. All right, so Su is making lings.
Yeah, this is the first real deviation with Dark adding an evolution chamber and a roundup of drones, whereas Su is now starting to make a lot of lings. Now that the third hatch is done, we'll see if he decides to switch it up and go into drone production, and he does. So likely going to be just a little bit of pressure from him. Maybe try to force Dark into a position where he's overreacting, and then Su has a worker advantage. And it's going to be Carapace coming out for Dark.
Yeah, so getting that armor upgrade. And by the way, the baneling's being made here for Su. This doesn't look like anything offensive just yet. No attacking moves here. I mean, you can make banelings just to defend and keep yourself safe. And now the Roach Warrens are going to come down.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised by this. I really thought after we saw that first round of 12 or so lings that Su would kind of try to feign as if he was going to pressure, but no, instead both players just making the exact same amount of army, same amount of drones as we continue the mirror on.
Now Su gets missile attack here, but obviously the armor attack for Dark is going to finish before Su's missile attack.
Yeah, and armor, if lings are mixed in, quite a bit, which I think they are prone to do. As ooh, Su didn't have that Baneling on hold position, walks in and detonates on one Ling.
Yeah, armor is basically better than missile attack if Lings are involved.
Almost always it is, because generally Lings are going to get involved one way or another, right?
Yeah, you're going to have this excess of minerals.
And Dark now adding in a ton of roaches, followed up by Lings. So this might be the first timing attack that we see in this game, as he's going to cut at 47 drones and try and hit a timing with +1 Carapace. And as you said, +1 range attack here for Su is considerably later, maybe 30 seconds or more.
I'm having a lot of fun just seeing how this is going to work out here, because this has been a very passive game with 2 top-tier players, so we get to see if Dark's timing attack is just going to be better.
Well, it should be pretty crisp. I mean, he has had no interruptions in his build whatsoever, so whatever the peak performance of this build is, we're about to see it, as he is starting to breach the position here at the third base of Su. A lot of Banelings out here for Su, only a handful of roaches, though, and these Banelings aren't going to find a lot of value, as the roaches pick almost all of them off, but now settling Dark with just an overwhelming concave here. The roaches are rallying in from the natural expansion, but oh man, Banelings on the spine!
And in the drones. I actually don't think that Su can recover in what is, honestly, a build worth stealing if you're on the ladder, man. I mean, as long as your opponent isn't aggressive, this is a very nice timing setup. It completely shuts down. Notice the missile attack for Su is about to finish, or you could have seen that a second ago.
That's almost an anti-timing. Look, it's even like 10 or 15 seconds away right now.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, about 10 seconds out, and it's like perfectly done by Dark. And I mean, really a masterful game here to start this out. You set up perfectly, and just a better build order, honestly.
Yeah, this is about as clean as it gets. Which is kind of a rare occurrence in a ZVZ,
No,
usually
I know, right?
It's quite down and dirty.
ZVZ is usually a little bit messier than this, but not when Dark plays. So GG, game 1 goes to Dark as he takes the lead in this best of 5.
It's a fantastic game. Man, our Zerg players watching at home are getting quite a bit of a treat if you want to go back home and ladder, because like the previous game that we saw where the Marine Rush by Ryung was stopped in its tracks, like that's a great kind of game to look at in a nutshell if you're struggling with that kind of cheese on the ladder. And then right here, I mean, oftentimes when we see ZVZs and they lead up to a timing attack, there's some kind of skirmish that happens earlier where things go off the rails and the player has to kind of bounce back to get on track into the timing attack. But that was just as pure as it gets. That was completely by the book. So kind of a nice little insight there into what the optimal timing attack would look like if you have no interruptions.
And we don't have a lot of ZVZs like that.
No.
A lot of times it starts to get ugly pretty quickly here, but Dark very patient and ready for anything that Su would have. But Su tried to play his own kind of macro development timing attack game, and Darks came out exactly fast enough to completely shut Su down. We're going to go now to Cosmic Sapphire here for map number 2. And I want to see if Su tries to do something aggressive or something cheesy here. And keep in mind, Dark usually does one cheese in every best of 5 he ever plays here. So we could have something interesting from him as well.
Start. Zerg, Dark. Zerg, Su.
Zerg. I'm wondering which player is going to mix it up here. Because I think it's unlikely that we see, a mirrored opening, and okay, it's going to be Su, 14 pool.
So, one thing about Dark is he's really good at cheesing, but he's also good at stopping cheese. He actually cheeses a decent amount, certainly more than Rogue does.
It's one of those funny things that, if you play a strategy a lot yourself, for example, a cheese, you get really good at defending it because you know what happens in the games that you lose.
Okay, I can't use these units at this moment or it falls apart, or can't overcommit here or anything like that.
It's one of the reasons why, if you're watching on Twitch, a lot of foreign players that stream will stream their off races, especially Scarlet. Her Protoss is very good.
Oh, yeah.
Her Terran not so much, but her Protoss is very good. And part of that is just, to reach this level of play, you have to know both races, or all 3 races, I should say, kind of inside and out, because whatever you do in ZVP, when it doesn't work, you're like, okay, well that works for Protoss.
Yeah.
And so Su kind of going for the early pool here. Now this isn't like an all-in. There's a hatchery behind it. There isn't gas. It's just a little bit of light pressure, but it's an interesting point that you make about Dark being good at defending early aggression because he's such an aggressive player himself.
He has such insane holds here. Now he's going around the Overlord. And the idea here is that maybe Dark makes an extra drone or two, which would only cause more damage once the Lings get there. He sees the Lings now.
Yeah, this Overlord will spot it, but not as much time to react as he would if the first Overlord had spotted it outside the natural expansion. So these Lings are going to come in, and we'll see if they're able to get any damage. It's unlikely they will get us around on a Queen, as the one of the natural is only partway done. It's really the main base they're looking for, and if he can get 1 or 2 drone kills, he's going to be really happy with it.
So far, he's done a pretty good job controlling these drones.
Wow.
My God.
1 drone goes down.
1 drone, okay.
And that's 3 larvae out of Su. So that's a very big win there for Dark, as I think at least a handful of those drones, at least 2 of them were like 1 hit away from going down.
Yeah, you want to have this guy's mouse settings, man. Just completely perfectly clicked on each one and then got it out in time.
It's like what you would see like a supercomputer playing StarCraft 2 and microing with like an uncapped APM. That's how they would defend 6 Lings coming into the main base.
It will never let the drone ever be around enough time to be killed there. So, you know, he's going to just run in. Yeah. And I think he wants to scout.
Yeah, well, Dark had to make these Zerglings no matter what because of the ones that came into his main base, right? So now he's just going to try and get whatever value he can out of them. And if he can get 1 drone kill, that's fine and dandy for him.
Now there's a 4-worker lead here. They're both droning on either side, but Dark is ahead in those few workers.
Oh, Su actually ahead. 3 workers.
I'm sorry,
no,
Su's ahead.
I had this in game 1.
I don't know why.
No,
I
had
that.
the same thing in game number 1.
Yeah.
I think it was because like blue was on, like the colors like didn't coordinate with like top and bottom.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
like really messed with my head. But yeah, I think perhaps Su, like he only got 1 drone kill, but Dark made like, what was that, 8 Zerglings, and Su only made 6. So yeah, the math is kind of funny in ZVZ's the way it goes.
But Dark's 3rd hatchery is almost done.
Yeah, and he's starting lair as well.
Yeah.
Both players, in fact.
And that this is cool. It looks like when he saw the setup at the entrance, he said, okay, you're going to 2-base power with roaches, so I'm just going to 3-base match you with roaches.
Ah, that is a good insight there.
And so he says, all right, I'm going to get the same tech as you with upgrades and, you know, getting the Roach Warren, of course. And then I'm just going to get a 3rd base up more quickly.
Yeah, and Dark even has a slight upgrade timing advantage, which is definitely favorable for him. But if I'm not mistaken, did Su make 2 evolution chambers in front of his natural, or is one of those the Warren?
Oh, you know what?
I'm not sure.
Here's the problem. If he made 2 Evo chambers, he's not upgrading out of both. I thought it was 1. The pool's back there, and so I think the entrance,
okay,
so it's Roach Warren and Evo chamber. So I think this is just better here for Dark.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, the workers kind of tell the story right now, 51 to 41. 3rd base already saturated here for Dark.
He gets his other 2 gases over at the 3rd. That's interesting, instead of getting 1 at the natural.
Huh.
I don't know what to make of that. Maybe you know, you see that many gases out there, you think there's going to be more tech.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
You know, yeah, I don't know.
Do you even need 5 gases on this? Maybe he's doing. I was going to say maybe he's doing something where he just puts 2 workers on each gas because it's more efficient. But drone they have to actually sacrifice drones to make their gases, so I don't think that's it.
I'm actually not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Let's see. Does he have 2 in
fully
there?
saturated.
No.
It's a lot of gas.
Seems like a lot of gas for Roach.
Just wants more Ravagers, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What happens is because you're fighting Roach versus Roach, you just need to make sure that every injured Roach is a Ravager.
Yeah, that's probably what the logic is. The scary thing is, if Su is able to make a timing work before a lot of those Ravagers are out, it could be deadly, because in terms of raw numbers, he's been a lot more mineral heavy. He should have more, especially right now, 41 workers to 58. 22 Roaches to 17 now. Su moving across the map. All the upgrades are finishing at the same times for both players. Just a slight speed advantage here for Su. That's already been neutralized. Is squaring off here in the middle. And although Su has more, Dark's rally is closer, so he is able to deflect this without too much of an engagement. And if Su just walks back home and re-drones, which he is, this is a little concerning because Dark had that worker advantage for a considerable amount of time.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's also gas pocketed for a big Muta switch here.
Huh, I guess he
had... The Spire's coming down. Yeah. You might as well get ahead in that sense, right?
Yeah, I guess he could have either gone for the Ravagers if he needed to repair his Roaches or go into Spire. Maybe it's a little flexible that way. Loving what we're seeing out of Dark.
Yeah, well, I mean, Dark is just... You know, it's the quintessential Zerg style of just reacting and just kind of staying ahead.
Yeah, it just feels like he's playing a slightly tighter game than Su is. And in a mirror matchup, that matters a lot because there isn't as many how do you say, discrepancies in like, like with a Terran and like a Protoss, they have a lot of differences, and Zergs they don't. That's what I'm saying, man. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that one. I lost the word.
I feel like it's just interesting to watch him sort of like. First of all, the fact that attack from Su comes out and like literally, Dark basically controls that perfectly. Where it's like, well, that just won't work against me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that was well done by him.
And then when he holds it off almost perfectly, he could have, I guess, technically not lost a drone, right? But
asymmetry is what I was going to say. There is not much asymmetry in a mirror matchup, so having a much tighter build as Dark has had this game is a very big deal here. And now Su going to move across the map. We'll see if he's able to get some damage done. 11 more Roaches in production, but Dark is already starting mutas. And with Su only having 4 Ravagers, those are going to be juicy targets for the mutas once they pop.
Yeah, and the mutas are going to be, the real play that's just going to throw Su into a lot of peril here. Because now he can, basically Dark can pick a fight that's going to be convenient for him.
Oh, wow.
I got to say, I'm kind of surprised that we're seeing Biles hit the mutas, but I guess if you don't micro them, that is what happens. But now he can chase him away. 4 bases coming here for Dark. No 4th started yet here for Su. And, I love that he didn't even overmake mutas. 4 or 5 is all you need. Now he can't be attacked.
Yeah, he can clean up all the overlords on the map, remove the vision there for Su, and also Su loses map control. He can't be on the map with his Roaches and Ravagers because the Ravagers will just get picked off by these mutas. It's really nice. It's kind of like an Oracle in PBZ.
Sure,
It kind of fills the same role here.
And now a Hydroden is being made, but it seems like with the maxed out supply, maybe there's an opportunity for Dark to try to trade his supply into the opponent.
And although Dark has those 5 mutas, the Roach and the Ravager counts are identical right now. 55 Roaches for each player as Dark is pushing up this ramp, and Su is going for a flank, but Dark just approached this position so quickly.
Fast, actually, that he got to fight off a lot of that. Now, the surround here from Su is pretty good, but the thing with Dark is he's trading out supply right now. That 4th base, by the way, is just now finished.
I can see that surround there for Su finally paying dividends there at the tail end of that fight. For a moment, it was scary because of how quickly Dark breached that position at the top of the ramp. Didn't give Su any time to react. And now with the superior economy, Dark could be the faster one to remax here. 182 supply to 178. Su is taking his 4th base. Carapace upgrade now coming in for Dark. And adding on more gases. Man, I gotta say, we've been giving Dark a lot of props here for playing a tighter game, but some of the best ZVZ we've seen out of Su in a while. He's hanging in it.
Yeah, he's doing a pretty impressive job. I do worry that Dark is just going to continue to keep his lead. We've got another max out coming over here. This time it's this attack is directed over towards this base at the far right. And that would be the 4th base. By the way, I think there's a drone getting ready to set up a 5th.
Yeah, it looks like that. As Dark now coming in over here at the 4th base, really wants to shut this down, and in fact, just had a handful of Roaches attack the hatchery while he defends in this concave, and he's just going to skirt out of this position now.
Dude.
So he loses some army, but that's a great trade for him.
And that's all he has to do, is just keep killing off this base over and over again.
Yeah, and the natural expansion, looking at the minimap too, we either have a group of Roaches or the mutas just causing even more trouble. They're killing creep timbers on that side of the map.
And he basically doesn't have to fight this if he doesn't want to, right? So he can kind of run away.
Yeah, these armies, they have the same movement speed off creep, so Dark is able to navigate away if he wants to. And right now he's just keeping the army for Su kind of cluster over here on the right side as he remaxes back at home. And now we have the Infestation Pit. Hive has started.
And, that base, it's being mined from. He's taken both the gases from that as well. We have, the Hive and the Lurker Den started up here.
Yeah, Dark is really finishing out his tech tree here, going up into the Hive, and it feels like Su kind of has to make something happen right now. 3 bases versus 4 with a inferior tech, but with both players matched on Roach Ravager right now, I mean, yes, Su does have some Hydralisks, but not a lot, only a handful, and that's not going to add enough DPS to overcome the faster reinforcement advantage that Dark has here on the defense.
Yeah, and I think this attack from here, I don't think this is going to work out too well for Su. He is just eating so many biles trying to force a fight right now. I think we may see, well, hold on, he's going to keep trying to push in.
Yeah, supplies right now in the favor of Su, so he is making some damage work, but you're right, those biles have been deadly. This fight would have been much cleaner for Su if he was able to avoid those, and now the Remax coming in for Dark will hit faster than Su's Remax, and the question is, will Su actually be able to get anything done here as Dark is pushing him all the way back, And the supplies, they do favor Su. He does have the better resource bank as well, but keep in mind that that's because Dark is finishing out his tech tree right now back at home.
Yeah, it does seem like the tug of war is beginning to be won here by Su. He's going to try to come in once more. Supplies frighteningly low right now here for Dark, but again, the base stays up. The drones aren't killed off. Very different techs, though. Very gas intense here from Dark. Su is really trying to just go for the kill move here, so it's going to be more about whether or not Dark can survive this and weather the storm.
Yeah, and Dark, for whatever reason on those 4 bases, I thought he had more workers than he actually does. I know that he lost a little bit in that fight at the 3rd, but right now it's only 57 workers for 61, so, man, Tasis, I'm starting to really like this position for Su. If he's able to have 1 or 2 more good fights.
Yeah, if he can get the closer here and kind of push into this base, I think he can win this game. Dark's done a really good job, but Dark may have gotten a little bit too greedy with the tech here, not respecting that. Really, Su was almost forced into this position once he lost that initial, timing attack there.
Yeah, Dark going to retreat into a more defensive concave over here between the 3rd base and the natural expansion as he's just going to seed this base, and now it's Dark that's going down to 3 bases, and man, Su's kind of turned this game on its head. I think you hit the nail on the head right there with Dark just getting a little bit too greedy with the tech, and now it's 200 supply to 156. Su continuing to push forward, fighting back against those biles, but
the lurkers!
Oh,
Nicely
man.
done. Oh, misses the lurkers there, too. Yeah, the lurkers were a good play. You could see, had he gotten lurkers earlier, that would have been nice, but because he tried to tech so quickly, it gave an opening there for Su to try to come out. The Dark's not dead yet, but Su is certainly in a winning position.
Yeah, Su now on 4 bases to the 3 of Dark, and Dark in this moment just kind of looking to stabilize here with these lurkers, and Su feels like he needs a response for it. He's pulling back, and yeah, Nidus.
Okay, so does he have an Overlord hidden somewhere that could set this up? Because I don't see it on the minimap.
I don't see anything either. Oh, there's a Speed Overlord at the 2 o'clock right now.
Yeah,
moving towards 3.
Maybe he goes into the main?
Could go into the main. Yeah, it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. So this here is so speedy.
There's no easy way to get back into the main in time. The Nidus should be done by now, so he needs to start it. Oh, I think that Su's figured this out.
Yeah, Su has a very good idea of what's going on. Has a Spine Crawler starting it already. Changeling coming in. Will get cleaned up by these roaches. And Su, now that he has 4 Overseers to spot those lurkers, is gearing up for yet another attack. Dark has been able to fight his way back up to 175 supply.
He's got to cancel this. There's no way he can keep this up. So he does. Backs up. Again, more nice biles connecting there. Can he make the Nidus outside the 4th, I wonder?
Perhaps, but right now he has to focus on defending here. And Dark has a very healthy number of lurkers, so I feel like Su kind of needs to advance his tech tree just a bit, so that Hive is finishing up for him as well.
The Overseer is going to go now down to 6 o'clock, where there is a base being taken. Oh, kind of hidden in plain sight, but it's spotted.
Now it's truly in plain sight as the Queens see it. Su, though, it seems like he's focused on this fight right now as the lurkers are creeping forward just a bit here.
Well, he's going to go for a push.
Dark. Well, he has a good timing window for it now. This Nidus is so awkward.
Yeah, I think he wanted to try to just basically make this like a distraction.
Kind of an awkward little dance we're doing over here in the middle of the map.
Yeah, no kidding.
Su had the economic edge for a fair bit of this game, but the lurker count for Dark right now is so high, but at the same time, it's difficult to really make anything happen with that because Su can micro just like this, and it's going to be a very slow push. It's almost like jumping with Spine Crawlers or Siege Tanks, and all right, this is a big play here from Dark, coming with 2 lurkers on that 4th base there of Su, and also at the same time trying to push in the mid field. 8 drones going down as Dark, for the first time in a long time, taking a supply lead here.
Oh my god, the lurker lives. How hilarious. So he's going to keep trying to push in here. Now, the lurkers are hard to deal with, man. And he's kind of just going around him. This hat trick could go down. Dude, this is going to be insane. If he can actually win this game, if Dark can win after being in such a bad spot, I don't even know what to say.
Well, he's playing this positionally so smart with these lurkers. He's just kind of bottling Su up over in these 3 bases, and at the same time, he's taking out the 4th barely survives.
Okay, lurkers there. He can't make any headway in that position. A lot of lurkers out here. He probably needs to try to navigate up to the 3 o'clock spot here. Is Su going to be fast enough to try to get in his way? It looks like right now Su could get down there and try to, wall this off. The thing is, you just need like 1 or 2 shots in there.
Yeah, he even doesn't even need to attack it. Just needs the bios to pop off.
That's a good point. Yeah, he could just come in there and... Yeah, here we go.
I'm actually trying to bio the lurkers.
Oh, really?
Takes one down, and Su at the same time is going to try and breach the top of this ramp, and he loses a lot of units doing that. There's a ton of lurkers here for Dark.
I cannot believe he didn't bio the hatchery. I feel like that's such a better move. Oh, whoa. Bad click there. Really bad.
That's like a StarCraft 1 lurker there on Marines or something. That's a lot of bloodshed.
Okay, so he's going to come around here and try to isolate his main.
Oh, Dark is playing this positionally so well.
He can get on the Evo chamber, too. The lurkers are now going to make that, I think, unapproachable position.
Yeah, lurker's setting up in a concave here. That's going to be a big hit as he continues to work his way back, getting out of the blinding cloud. Su only has 2 Vipers, so he's kind of strained over here on energy, and the Nidus Swarm going off in the main base of Su at the same time.
Oh, my God. This is crazy. Go over there. Thank you.
Dark is just playing this beautifully tasteless.
Dark is just like so much better. It's actually like inspiring. Now the Queens are going to come in here, and he's going to rot the main from the inside out. He can take out the Evo Chamber. He takes out the Roach Warren, by the way. Su, I mean, this is a humiliating defeat after he had fought back so well when Dark took the lead.
Oh, the Queens are going to take out the Vipers here for Su as everything's kind of starting to fall apart. The main base is forfeit. The 4th base on low HP. The natural now getting breached. Lurker is set up between the natural and the 3rd base as Dark is just in full control of this game, and we're going to be seeing 2-0 heading into Game 3.
I mean, I got to say, Dark is a master. I mean, that's just insane to me. What a great game that was in general. Now, Su came out there with a rush. Dark shut it down. He had a lead for most of the game. And basically forced Su onto 3 bases. Su then fought back very well, got Dark onto 3 bases while Su took 5. Dark just, he laid low, he got into that lurker tech, and then basically played a pretty ingenious positional game where he just kept finding each weak spot, and he was very quick about moving it. He got the lurkers to where they needed to be. And, Su just wasn't really keeping up with what he needed to do back there. He got his own lurkers out, but didn't have them defending anything. Crazy victory there by Dark.
Yeah, Su was able to successfully greed check Dark a little bit as he was filling out the tech tree perhaps faster than was safe. And Su had a lot of momentum behind that, but Dark just played a very technical game, very positional with lurkers, and was able to kind of grind it out almost similar to the way you would see a Terran player do with siege tanks, just navigating the map perfectly, cutting off Su at every angle. And man, Dark just feels like he's got all the wind behind him right now after that game comeback. And we're going to go into set number 3 here. Dark on match point.
Pretty crazy.
Sir, Dark.
This could be another 3-0.
It could be.
What time is it right now? We started at 5. 7:13.
2 hours and 13 minutes.
Wow. Super Tournament is usually much longer than a given day.
Su.
I really liked what we saw of Su in that game, by the way. All the way through the mid-game, Su kind of looked like his old self, the way he was playing it. I mean, there were a little bit of hiccups here and there, but he had the right intuition that Dark was playing a little bit greedy. He goes for a push. He gets a ton of damage in. He wipes Dark's army. He takes out the 3rd base, puts Dark back on a 3-base economy, and Dark just barely by the skin of his teeth is able to get lurkers out to defend. And from there, maybe Su was just a little bit slow on going into the lurker transition, because it felt like from that spot he was in just full control of the game if he was able to, not let Dark claw his way back with lurkers.
So it's a quick pool again. 6 lings. In this case, it's hatch, gas, pool. That's normal, of course. So, I'm interested that he went for a quick pool again.
He was making 8 this time. So a little bit more aggressive than we saw in the previous map.
Will he make 10? Let's see. 10. All right. So it's a different build. Is there a drone with the army? Is there anything?
I don't think so. You're wondering if there's going to be a spine crawler going down or something?
I don't know this specific Rush in ZVZ. Okay, so he just
still
continues to make lings. So, I mean, obviously, so this is probably going to be targeted towards the hatchery.
And he's continuing to rally them, too. For a moment, I was wondering whether he would do the same thing, but just only show 6 lings and then pool them and come with a big timing. But he has no shame. He's just full rallying over here across the map. And Dark going for the gas pool is a little bit greedy. He's going to have to pull drones to try and fight this. This is going to be a pure micro battle, but That's a lot of Zerglings, Tasteless.
Yes, it is. The drone is, Dark has been pretty good at microing his drones.
That's a lot of DPS coming out of these Zerglings, though. And right now, Dark is trying to buy time for this Queen and the Lings to come out so that he can fight together. And now, here we go. 6 Lings joining the fray. 2 more hatch from this Larva, the natural expansion.
Just really good control here, by the way, from Dark. How many drones have been killed?
I think one or maybe 2. So this has been phenomenal control from Dark yet again. As you said it there in game number 1, he's just so good in these early game situations. Like that drone pull, he's not trying to take a fight with the Zerglings. He's just making it so they can't kill the hatchery.
Right.
He's buying himself time to get Queens out, to get Zerglings out, because once those units join the drones in the natural expansion, Su is suddenly massively outnumbered.
Now, Ling speed starts. Drones are being made right now for Su. Now, Ling speed versus no Ling speed. I mean, the speedlings are so much better. So, you know, again, I feel like this entire best of 5 is just like a case study of like a guy that knows how to react with Dark. So
Dark's going to go all in off of this, I think.
I think you might be right. So he basically holds it and he says, okay, so I'm in this position now. How do I navigate this? What do I do?
Yeah, and this might be a checkmate move unless Su is able to somehow clog this ramp. Because as you said, speedlings are going to be so much better than slowlings here.
Yeah, and you know, it's only natural that Su would be trying to, you know, crank out as many drones as possible after a disappointing rush. And, you know, it's funny. We don't have a lot of games that end in speedlings. It's kind of like a StarCraft 1 ZVZ.
He now sees Lings coming down the ramp. He missed the big ball of Lings, but these are speedlings. They're going to be pouncing on this position so quickly. Look at him just come across the map right now. And
he's going to try to barricade this. Queens are... Oh, no. Are Queens coming? No,
so
no.
2 Evolution Chambers and a Roach Warren coming down here for Su. There are 3 Queens behind this wall and a number of Lings as well, and he's going to have to hold on as best he can. Another Evolution Chamber going to go down behind this Queen, kind of like a Protoss player with a pylon trying to plug the wall, but it's a lot of Zerglings coming in, Tasteless.
He's not really damaging that Queen over there.
Whoa!
What?
I didn't even know you could do that! Creep timber trick and he got behind the wall?
That was crazy.
That was insane. But this Roach Warren's going to go down. Roach Warren falls. But are there enough Lings? I don't know if he's going to get enough surface area.
Well, there's got to be more Lings about to hatch here. 2 Queens go down.
Oh, this is so close, Tasteless. That might be enough. Drone's able to hold this.
Second.
Trying to get the wall back up is Su, but the Roach Warren not able to go down. More Lings flooding in now as drones are fighting and they're getting traded out. 6 drones already going down as Lings are coming out, but keep in mind, Su does not yet have speed. Oh, he catches him on the ramp. He blocks him from going into the main base. The wall going back up once again. Lings trying to defend that there in the natural ramp, and man, Su might have a miracle hold here.
Queen goes down again here. More Lings are coming. A little bit disorganized there by Dark. Roach Warren started here as well, by the way.
29 drones to 18.
So Ling speed just now starts to be upgraded here for Su.
But he has such a numbers advantage, I don't know if it's going to matter, and he's already plugged the wall in again.
No, I think that this should be a game Su can win. But let's not give up on him just yet. The thing is, he could use the speedlings, keep running around in circles, attack the front, and then maybe come from behind. No, I guess not. I stand corrected. He's making drones. The rush is over.
Making drones, starting a 3rd hatchery, but right now it's 21 workers to 28, so Su has a fantastic advantage here after these openings, and man, that was such a technical defense there at the natural ramp. I actually didn't even know that you could walk through the wall like that with a Queen.
Yeah, that was very cool. Now, he's still moving around with these Lings. He can check and see what's upgraded. He sees everything that's going on here.
Oh, he gets to surround there with the drones.
Beautifully done. The drone count, by the way, is 31 to 32 now. So Su just now squeezed out 1 more drone.
Dark doing his best to come back economically in this one, but it's a 10 supply advantage right now in the favor of Su. And keep in mind, it's not only the supply advantage that he has, but 2 Evolution Chambers cranking out upgrades as well. There's Dark now adding in Baneling Nests, his first Evolution Chamber. And it seems like Su's going to try and see what he can do to deny this 3rd base.
Okay, so the Lings are going to come up now. This is going to be right as the Banelings finish. Whoa!
Scary moment there as the Lings with the ramp spot those Banelings, and
yeah, he can't stay there if those Banelings are going to be out. Problem is he also can't leave his base if those Banelings are going to be out.
Yeah, Su just going to take a 3rd base back at home as well. As Dark's going to try going for a run by. That hole will be plugged, though. The Queen got there at the last second.
Hold on. The Banes are going to be back here to try to deny the Lings from coming forward.
Oh, the Queens actually get surrounded there by those Zerglings. So that's 2 Queens with a lot of transfuses going down. But the Roaches popping here for Sue are going to be kind of the anchor here on his defense at this point. Doesn't feel like Dark is going to be able to breach this position. And for a second, I was wondering if he's going to be droning behind this, but he's actually just finished a round of 22 more Lings. So he has a lot committed to this attack.
And 14 more coming as well. Started missile attack for a second to cancel it. I think that was a misclick. But basically, he's trying to punish Sue, who's trying to expand out here.
I don't think he'll be able to right now. These are going to be these are 1/1 Lings right now for Sue. He has the Carapace upgrade. The Roaches sniping some of these Banelings. Actually, no, the Banelings get in.
Banelings are not detonating.
Kind of anticlimactic with how long those Banelings stayed alive.
Yeah, it was very odd.
Just going to clean this up.
Banelings bounced around like they were in a pinball machine for a little bit instead of going off.
Had a little bit of a series here, man. That's a nice win there from Sue.
That was a good game.
That was a great defense there on the natural ramp.
I'll tell you, though, Dark is very scary. I like the way he approached that, just doing that all in from that moment. I think expecting, for the Dark to just try to drone up. But then instead, Dark just went and tried to pull the trigger. That Overlord did spot the Lings, so he was a little bit slow to move out like that. Man.
Yeah, very technical defense there from Sue. He was barely able to hold on to that natural ramp. This is tournament life here at Super Tournament. Kind of hangs on a thread right now. One more match point game before we can go to set 5 as Dark is leading this one 2-1.
Inside and Out is going to be our next map. And yeah, let's see what can happen here. Again, Dark, I think, played a very strong 2 first games here. Sue can hang, but he really has to work, right, to get these wins. He went for a quick pool opening again that game. Will he try something similar? I don't know how many different branches there are for pool first here in the matchup. But anyways, our game's now lit up. We're going to go into game 4 now, our first not 3-0 in today's GSL Super Tournament.
Game start. Zer, Dark.
Oh boy. Surprised we're actually doing the introductions right now because Dark is going for a 12 pool. At least I think it's Dark.
Yeah, it should be Dark. He's in the blue.
Names haven't loaded in just yet.
So Dark's going to give him a taste of his own medicine.
Yeah,
now,
a little bit.
Pool started here for Sue as well. So this is one of the funny things because this whole build is intended for you to get there and start to deal with their hatchery or kill their drones. But we have 2 guys both going for a pool first. It could be a pretty action-packed game here.
Yeah, in this case, I would kind of give the edge to Sue just because he has a little bit more economy behind his pool, and because it is pool first, it's going to be a long time for Dark to actually get those Lings across the map. And by then, I mean the pool discrepancy is pretty much nullified. Actually, even taking a gas is Dark. That surprises me.
Well, this is super aggro.
Yeah,
this is not like aggression in to make drones. So he's going to have the hatchery coming down here. But, getting the gas fast, I mean, you can get Ling speed very, very quickly.
And, we'll see how much of this hatchery is actually the macro and how much of it's actually just to have more larvae to attack with.
I think so. It's like you have the money to get another hatchery no matter what, so you might as well put it there.
And Sue is going to see these Lings moving across the map, so he has a very good idea of exactly what's coming his way, and I feel like he's going to be happy with this right now. 6 Zerglings already back at home, defending the faster hatchery here for Sue.
We don't have the upgrades yet. We have 50 gas soaked up so far from that geyser. Now, again, if you're going to go for more aggression, which I have to imagine that's what he's going to do here with the gas play, you don't want to drop Lings off early on because once your Lings get the upgrades here, you're going to have a lot, that you can do with this. So he does start Ling speed. So, it's possible he may be telegraphing his intentions by not being too aggro with the Lings, but the Queen comes out, so now I guess he wouldn't want to try to overextend at all.
Yeah, and now Dark restarts Zergling production. 2 more coming. And maybe if you're Dark in this position, you try to do something similar to the previous game, and that you feign that you're actually pulling way more Lings.
Yeah,
and
I think
so. And then once Zergling speed is done, just everything comes.
I think you see this number of Lings, you don't worry, right? You say, okay, we're fine.
Yeah, we made an equivalent number of Lings. Our economies are probably very similar.
And Ling speed's halfway done, so he's going to have probably a little bit more than the group of Lings that we see outside of his base. And what we want to watch for on production over here, the production tab, I mean, is just if drones keep coming out. See, another 2 drones were just made there by Su. So Su's feeling comfortable. He's feeling confident. There's 2 overlords here to spot for when the 3rd base would be, or if any links come out. The link speed is, what is it, about 85% done.
Yeah, he's going to be moving out very soon because I feel like once speed finishes, and actually looking at the mini-map, you could tell that Dark is trying to move the Zerglings that he had on the map to some place where Su doesn't have vision, so he doesn't know that speed is done until the last possible moment. All right, here it comes.
All right.
There's a lot of Zerglings.
Comes out. Su's going to have literally seconds to react to this.
Oh, he's going to try and block the wall.
Okay, he doesn't manage to interrupt the wall in over there, but he does start to chip away at things. Okay, and he does get through.
Yeah,
he does get through
the wall. The
Here
drone's
we go.
not able to build the evolution chamber. The Zerglings are in. They're getting a surround on 2 of the queens. Su knows he won't be able to get the wall up. He cancels these buildings, but it might be too little too late as the Zerglings continue to flood in right now. Su trying to make any lings he can, trying to have the most defensive position over here in the corner of the mineral patch with the drones, but the army supply 24-6, and that's going to be it. GG. Dark with an absolute killer move there. Going for the throw on match point.
And he basically wanted to win that game the way he couldn't win game 3. So funny. He's like, oh, it didn't work. Well, let me just try it one more time. I'll do it right this time. But a great series so far. I think by far the best series we've had all day.
Yeah, I mean, I love what we saw out of Su there. He, Game 1, Game 2, he really made a show of it. He even got a map win as Su kind of slowly returning to form here after returning from military service. I feel like, I mean, it's not the best end to the year, but it's better than nothing, right? And he could look forward to 2023.
Having a pretty intense fight versus Dark at a best of 5 and taking the game off him, no shame in that. We're going to go to an interview now, see how Dark's feeling.
In a ZVZ, Dark defeats Su 3-1 to move on to round of 8. Congratulations, thank you. And Dark, you recently won the Africa TV Champions Cup, and now you're making it to the GSL SuperTournament round of 8. How do you feel? Well, first of all, everything went as planned, and I was pretty lucky today. So I'm really happy that I won easier than I expected. So in Season 3, you were eliminated in the round of 24, which was a big upset for the fans. And I'm seeing you after a long time. And you have a mustache on and a beard. So what is this about? So I want to hear the background behind this. I feel like this was the time I grow some beard. If I go to the army, I have to shave off my head and my beard. So I think this is the only time I have that I can enjoy this kind of thing. It looks good on you, Dark. So let's take a look at the results. In Cosmic Sapphire, after a lot of skirmishes, you're able to gain the win after a neck-and-neck match. The opponent was pretty aware of you going for the Nidus, but then when you use the Nidus, it's clearly different from other players. I mean, before I got the Lurkers, my expansion should have not been pushed, but then things started going out of hand. I was pretty scared, and the score was kind of like 5-5. And then I went for the Judgment Cold, I went for the Nidus, and then it turned out to be pretty effective. In the fourth game, you went for the spawning pool first. And so what was the reason behind the build? Well, I lost in terms of build, and I was kind of devastated. And when the Zerglings were rushing towards the enemy base, the Overlord didn't spot them, and that was pretty fortunate for me. And what a performance for you, Dark, today. And this year, Dark, you were almost capable of winning every tournament because you had such capability. And your form has been looking so amazing. You won the DreamHack Valencia and all the other accomplishments. So I'm sure you had a lot of disappointment after the GSL elimination. So what about this tournament? Well, right now my games have been going well, so I have good expectations for this tournament. I'm gonna try to wash away disappointment in this tournament. And Dark said he's gonna continue his momentum from Africa TV Champions Cup. And your opponent will be Cure or RagnaroK in the round of 8. So who do you prefer to play against? A TVZ, a ZVZ or ZVT? Well, they're both very tricky opponents. If I can win the round of 8, I think it's going to be smooth sailing from then on.
선수는 박용우 선수가 너무 무섭다고 하시더라고요.
And Bunny, meanwhile, he said he's very scared of you. So what do you think about that?
요새 기세가 좋긴 한데.
Well, Bunny has been in tremendous form these days.
근데 대선이가 요새 너무 잘하더라고요.
Bunny's looking so strong.
사실 준호 형이 올라갈 줄 알고.
But I still didn't expect Hero to get eliminated by him today.
그래도 준호 형보단.
So I think it's better that I'm gonna play against Bunny in the later rounds if I get to meet him, because Hero is a scary opponent.
자, 슈퍼토너먼트에서 좋은 경기력 쏟아 보여주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
And we look forward to seeing amazing performance from you in the Super Tournament. So anything else you want to say? Well, there are a lot of fans here today, and despite the cold weather, I'm really grateful to the fans for coming down here. And it was a ZVZ today, so I'm a little, I feel a little sorry for the fans because it was like a rock paper scissors game. But in the later rounds, I'll try to show amazing performance. Once again, congratulations to Stark. Thank you. And then was the interview with Dark. Dark has just beat Sue, and now all we are awaiting is the last game of last match of tonight.
It's almost like I missed you, but I can never let myself forget all my love you misused, so I won't play your games. It's almost like I missed you, but I can never let myself forget all my love you misused, so I won't play your games. And all the times I feel something, there's a voice in the back of my head telling me to keep running, 'cause all that you are is regret. And all the times I feel something, there's a voice in the back of my head telling me to keep running, 'cause all that you are is regret. No, I don't need your love, I don't need your touch, I don't need anything now. You gave up on us, now your time is up. I don't need anything now. I don't need your love, 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 I don't need your love. It's almost like I missed you, but I can never let myself forget all my love you misused, so I won't play your games. It's almost like I missed you, but I can never let myself forget all my love you misused, so I won't play your games. And all the times I feel something, there's a voice in the back of my head telling me to keep running, 'cause all that you are is regret. And all the times I feel something, there's a voice in the back of my head telling me to keep running, 'cause all that you are is regret. No, I don't need your love, I don't need your touch, I don't need anything now. You gave up on us, now your time is up. I don't need anything now. I don't need your love, 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 I don't need your love.
I feel good vibes when we collide. I feel good vibes when we collide. I feel good vibes when we collide. I feel good vibes. I feel so good, yeah, out in the spotlight. I feel so happy when we collide. We go ba 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 da da ba ba da da ba 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 ba. We go ba ba
minute.
상큼함 맥스, 칼로리 X, 맛있는 탕스 제로. 요즘 제일 탐나는 제로, 탕스 제로. 같이 떠나볼래?
아침엔 라떼 홀릭 점심엔 라떼 홀릭 저녁엔 라떼 홀릭 둥글하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀릭 달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타 라떼 홀릭
실성제이다 제로. 그래 걱정 빼고 고민 빼고 망설임 빼고 This is zero life. 없어도 되는 건 빼고 살짝 실성사이다 제로. Hot six, hot six. Full-time new brand. Okay, Phoenix, let's go. Hot six. Open your eyes, open your heart. Hot six 넘어가면 another rebel. 밤이 건너지도 finish full-time 두 배로 난 지치지 않아 무게 올려 보스팅의 맛으로 보여 driver another rebel. 어제 쓰러져도 다시 높여내 시벨 칼로리 제로 뛰어 피곤한 날 리셋. 버핏 심장을 뛰게 해 이러니 버킷 리스트. Hot six 날 다시 깨우는 마법같이 Hot six 온몸에 그 강의 짜릿함이 Hot six Phoenix 마법같이 Hot six Hot six.
2022 Hot 6 GSL SuperTournament Season 2.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time to go to the final best of 5 before we close out the round of 16.
Yeah, and it's been another pretty one-sided day, which is not a result I completely expected coming into this, especially with Bunny versus Hero as match number 1. But as you see right there on the screen, Bunny with a clean 3-0 of Hero in, frankly, a very convincing fashion. He looks so strong.
DRG dominates Ryung to the point where it's like very obvious Ryung should not be going on to the round of 8. Dark and Sue, it was actually a very good ZVZ. One of the best ZVZs I've cast in a little while here. It was really interesting to see the approach. Sue definitely can hang with Dark, but Dark is just a better player. Now, this next matchup, I got my eyes on RagnaroK here. I don't know if he's going to take it, and I know that sounds weird for me to say. He was just in a GSL Codes Finals. I feel like I haven't adjusted to that yet still. But whatever he's doing is working. I think it's not as fancy as like what RagnaroK does, but you know what? It doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
a result is a result.
He's so consistent. I mean, he's gotten top 6 in like the last 3 GSL seasons he played in, and that includes the semifinal, or the finals, excuse me, the second place finish. And at DreamHack, he also got top 8, if I'm not mistaken. So RagnaroK, it just seems like whatever he chooses to do, it works. And it's kind of odd because sometimes you watch his play and he wins, but you know, it won't be the most clean game. It won't seem like he blindsided his opponent with some really quirky or cool strategy. It's just like he gets the edge on his opponent every single game, just enough to get the win. And I mean, that's a talent in and of itself, but he's coming up here against Cure, who, although the results are a little bit more shaky on his side of things, he has been quietly one of the best Terrans in Korea, if not the world.
Yeah, he's a very, very strong Terran player. RagnaroK does like to kind of brute force stuff. He likes to do a lot of aggro moves that are not really intended to win, so I don't want to be you guys to be misled like, oh, it's an all-in. It's like what Dark did. Not really. It's like he wants to just attack you and force you to defend, and he'll drone and, you know, he'll trade out, you know, his roaches. Very often it's roaches. And kind of just try to play a control game from there on out.
It kind of feels like he has a slightly different grasp on a lot of Zerg's matchups than other Zerg players do.
Yeah, he's kind of been doing a lot of his own stuff, and it seems like it's just now starting to click as we get through to 2022 here, and I'm curious to see if it's going to remain here in 2023. That being said, we get a lot of players that get to a GSL Finals. We say, is it going to be the next step for them? Can they go win a whole tournament? And they don't. They fall off right after that.
Yeah, so GSL Finals into top 8 at DreamHack. We'll see if he's able to continue this momentum in Super Tournament as Day2 is getting loaded up. Set number 1 between RagnaroK and Cure. So we're ready to finish off day 2 of the GSL Super Tournament.
Game start. Sir RagnaroK.
Just a mouthwash in there.
It's going to have
His
such a
teeth
clean mouth.
Yeah.
Got a spit
He'll
bucket
start
next
his
to
second
him.
hatchery and spit it out.
Cured.
That's how he trains himself to macro really well.
That's right,
He wants to
yeah,
get the hatch rate down as fast as possible.
So.
Ooh, CC first.
Yeah, not surprising by Cure
Pool
here.
first.
What?
Okay.
Okay, so this is going to be interesting. Now, you know, you and I were actually casting this earlier in Season 3. It or was it Season 2 as well? Did we cast it together a little bit in Season 2?
I think some days.
I think Artosis was gone just for a few days then, too.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
And so, one thing to note is that Pool First doesn't actually hard counter CC First.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what you would need to do with Zerg to hard counter it, like maybe a 12 pool or something.
Yeah, maybe literally like immediately make a pool. I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, because we saw this, and it was able to delay the command center just a little bit, but that was pretty much everything. It didn't do much more than that. And actually, a gas as well. Okay.
Now, that would be a very cool moment if this is like directly, this is set up to address CC First.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it is, though, because the firstlings are about to hatch now, and the command center, as you see right there, is already more than 60% done. First barracks almost finished as well, so.
So quick CC has been very trendy this year, sometimes referred to as the OP build.
It's not us that call it that. It's the Terran players.
It's the Terran players that are referring to it.
Their post-match interviews.
And so basically, you know, the idea is that you just rush out a base right away, and like you're not necessarily the safest in the world, but most Zergs don't really play for really early aggression early on.
It has to be like a full coin flip from the Zerg if they want to try and blank counter
Yeah,
it.
they have to decide they're going to flip a coin, and of course, if Terran just plays normally, then the Zerg doesn't do anything, and it's going to be actually a very hard early game, which isn't that common.
And I would say that we usually see it from Terran like maybe in about a third of games. Maybe a little bit, maybe even a little bit less than that, but it's not something that's like 50-50. So Zergs really would have to gamble to actually do that. I mean, you should not like those odds.
Yeah, Stim is coming here. And RagnaroK just takes the third base right away.
Yeah, and very fast Zergling speed as well.
Now, I don't know that you could do any kind of brute force stuff like we saw RagnaroK do in the past. It seemed like that was better versus the standard play, where you would get a command center pretty fast, but not that fast.
I don't think we're going to see something like that from RagnaroK. What we might see is maybe a little bit of Roach or Ravager Ling pressure. That's something that he likes to do a lot in this matchup. And although oftentimes when he does it, we're left scratching our heads just a little bit because it doesn't get too much damage done.
Yeah.
It kind of slows down the pace of the game a little bit. Ooh, almost got that supply depot.
That would have been a big kill if he had just sniped that off.
But it's just something that we see from him consistently in ZVT that seems to like slightly slow down the mass of the bio growing in the Terran base, while also keeping the Terran back at home defending, and he's droning up back on his base. And it's not something that a lot of other Zergs do that often. But for RagnaroK, it seems to be a winning formula in this matchup. And so it is kind of interesting the way that he kind of moves to the beat of his own drum in that sense. We'll see if he's going to do something like that in this game. As of yet, still no Roach Warren, so.
And Cure is doing like the most standard branch of the build, which is just power on 2-base and push. We did see people kind of dabble with take a third command center. I don't feel like that complements the opening.
It still happens a lot. I think even Ryung might have done that in match number 1, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's correct.
It's just, it's shaky because...
Well, I feel like you're giving yourself this lead, and then it's like you're kind of letting the game run away with it.
That's exactly
the whole point is like you've got this lead. Come in there and force them to either respect your build or lose the game and go from there.
Yeah, you're surrendering a lot of map control going for the third CC, whereas 2CC has absolute kill potential.
Well,
and in this case, it's going to be 2CC with a lot of bio, a lot of units powered up, and then a later command center. So this isn't like a super fast third CC. This is going to be heavy pressure coming out of Cure.
No, this is going to be a lot of pressure coming here. We got combat shields coming here. The tech lab's almost done. And, you know, this is a much earlier moment to come out on the map. Excuse me. This is a much earlier moment to come out on the map.
And this is a good number of Marines as well. Now, I don't know exactly what upgrades they have. I see Combat Shields is almost done. I'm assuming they have Stim.
Yeah, I think Stim's done.
I don't think there's any +1 infantry weapons, so... See exactly what Kira is able to get done with this. He is trying to scan and pick off some tumors. He does get these as they're morphing in. But with the number of queens that Zerg players make nowadays, you really have to camp these positions if you want to deny the creep, because they're never going to run out of energy, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Combat Shields is done now. You're just stimming around a little bit.
So he's actually collecting tanks still. The push is going to come. It's not going to be as all-in as just 2 bases, like we saw, especially early on when this build came out.
Yeah, there's still no engineering bay, if I'm not mistaken. So this is going to be a very powerful 3-base push. This is not macro-focused.
The third command center is going to be there just so we can keep supporting the barracks and everything else. Okay, 1-1 starts here now.
Excuse me, I was making my face. Immediately starts 1-1 after I say that.
I believed you and you said it too. I'm like, yeah, of course, there's no E-base.
I just didn't catch the E-base. But, I mean, regardless of that, they're kind of late, right?
Right.
Oftentimes we'll see players go for really fast E-base with the 3rd CC, but instead... Kira has been prioritizing getting his military infrastructure up very quickly, and he's been doing a good job as well of that group with 20 Marines of keeping the creep spread under control, and that's going to allow him to take a more advantageous position to siege up from, and it looks like for him the target's going to be the 4th base.
Yeah, and always we want to try to hit that 4th base, right?
Yeah.
That's when the Zerg really has a weak spot that you could try to go for. Now, there's a lot of Ravagers out here, which makes it pretty hard to siege up your tanks, right? Especially if you only have 2 right now. We see a 3rd that's going to be coming out of the natural right here.
Yeah, and Kira sees that army from RagnaroK, and he just immediately starts backing off a little bit. Seems like he will go for a double drop with Marines, possibly towards the 4th base, or the main base, excuse me, instead, as he just, you know, postures back at home. He needs to power up a little bit more. And I like this call by Kira a lot because, you know, the Roach Ravager composition like this, especially with 40+ lings accompanying them, it power spikes really hard, really early, but it doesn't scale that well, whereas tanks and bio do.
Yeah, tanks and bio can go the whole way through the game here. So, you know, I think maybe forcing RagnaroK to try to defend this and then not really committing, not a bad idea.
Yeah, not a bad idea. And then you can see what he does is he escorts all of the very slow but powerful units, the siege tanks, back at home. Once he gets them there in a defensive position, he peels off all of the Marines, which are very maneuverable, to start going and do 2-prong attacks on the map. And as of yet, he hasn't gotten too much done, but he is controlling the creep spread, and that is very, very important. He might even get this fifth hatch.
Yeah, that's a good deny over there. Controls this area pretty well, actually cleaning up quite a bit of creep.
That's a lot of tumors going down.
When you see this many Roach Ravager, I mean, there's no mutas at play here, so you can trade very effectively. Nice one by Kira. He pulls out right now.
Well, that's a fast hive out of RagnaroK.
Yeah, this is interesting.
It's
Roach Ravager into the hive tech here.
It's not often that you see hive start at the same time as Baneling speed, but that's what's going on right now.
And Terran's going to stay back and continue to macro up. Just keep the Zerg off of 5th base as long as he can and probably expand over here near 12 o'clock.
Yeah, RagnaroK fishing a little bit for this bio ball. Does eventually find it, but this is a fight off creep, so Kira's going to be able to micro and kill all these lings. RagnaroK just trying to get him out of this corner of the map. Does not want that 5th base to get canceled yet again. And I'm curious about this this hive tech, because the economy isn't really there to do too much with this, I think. So what I'm imagining is this is going to unlock, you know, the 3-3 upgrades and Zergling attack speed is with a little bit of an engagement here. Kira microing back. It's a ton of those Zerglings.
You know, Kira's trading out pretty damn well.
Yeah, he is losing some Marines, but that's a lot of larvae being traded. I mean, RagnaroK right now is only on 80 workers. He would much rather be closer to 85 or 90, I think. And 3 Vipers in production, okay. 3 Vipers. Ultralisk Cavern as well this early. Huh. You know, I understand going for 3-3, getting Adrenal, getting some Vipers, but the Ultralisk Cavern this early is...
It's not
something
that common, right?
Surprises me.
And so, these creep colonies are going to be shot down over here. Right now, it's been a very interesting game here from RagnaroK. He's kind of just staying back and kind of sitting on this tech. A lot of times we see Zergs try to trade out these units and then switch. But I guess because Terran hasn't committed to any attack yet, the Zerg doesn't want to try to give this up.
Yeah, and this game is going to have a little bit of a different dynamic from some other ZBTs that we watch, because generally the Zerg army, when it maxes, it has to kind of attack to trade out so that you can remax on something else. But this time, because of the way RagnaroK is fleshing out his tech tree, he's actually going to have a really powerful maxed army very early in this game.
Yeah, no way you can attack in there with the 4 tanks clumped all the way in the back. Terran on 4 bases now, as you know, the Zerg is just going to continue.
Yeah, and RagnaroK doesn't really want to engage until the Adrenal's done. These moves just trying to buy himself a little bit of time, I think. As Kira's just setting up in front of him. He is getting that 4th command center down now, and looking at the mini-map, you can see he's throwing down 2 more CCs as well. And RagnaroK, Adrenal about to finish. He's coming in now. Adrenal Glance is done.
Yeah, he's moving in, and I don't see any tanks sieged up back here.
No, the tanks are completely unsieged.
Oh
Blinding Clouds on the entire army as RagnaroK is making this timing work to perfection right now. All the tanks are cleaned up. It's just Bio here remaining, but a lot of the frontline forces here for the Zerg are going down.
Does Terran have enough to chew through this? Yes, he does. Enough infantry is underneath those medevacs. He does fire back. And you can see now it's 4 Ultras and tons of Lings are being manufactured.
Oh, what a great bile. It's like a disruptor shot.
Yeah.
So Kira does eventually stabilize, but keep in mind that he lost a ton of tanks in that fight. He actually has no tanks on the field at all right now. It's pure bio mine, and no mines are here with this army. It's just the medevacs, Marines, and Marauders.
And this means that Zerg's going to have a lot more push potential here as these Ultras hatch.
Yeah, Widow Mines now finally burrowing here, joining the bio in the front. Nice hits there, get a good number of Banelings, but Viper's able to even clean up some of these medevacs.
Yeah, he's going to continue to try to fight this off. Does seem like Terran might just have enough.
Yeah, I feel like RagnaroK might be overextending just a little bit over here.
I think he keeps thinking he's going to win these fights. All he has to do is stay back a little bit more and wait for his reinforcements. But I guess as the Ultras come in here, there's just no way on earth.
Well, they can't really fight off creep. They need the Lings to accompany them and get us around on the bio.
Yeah, you might be right. I think he might have bled off too many Lings earlier on. And now these Ultras are getting shot down.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I think that although RagnaroK played really well, he might have been like a little bit too sloppy, a little bit too reckless after he traded his Roach Ravager out. I think, you know, we talk about this a lot, but, you know, Roach Ravager isn't great in the late game, and so normally they trade that out early on, and RagnaroK didn't do that. He kind of waited and tried to take a full-on fight, but it seems like he gave Kira enough of a runway here to then, you know, continue on with a push.
Yep, Kira now posturing here in front of the 5th base. RagnaroK's going to come in the last-ditch effort to try and defend, but there's so much bio here and just a couple of Ultras on the ground.
3-3's finishing here, so many Marauders, and just not enough Ultralists, not enough Lings, not enough anything Zerg-related. I got to say, I'm very impressed. It looks like Kira is going to 1-0 RagnaroK here in the first game.
Yeah, Kira playing very well right now. Adapting on the fly after the timing push, recognizes that he can just move across the map and try and get as much value out of his bio as possible, and these splits are just fantastic for him. Almost doubling the supply of RagnaroK as Kira's looking to close out game number 1.
Yep, GG, Kira takes it, giving him that lead. RagnaroK, again, he's always played differently than these other players. And, you know, it's not bad, but you kind of saw why that didn't work that time around.
Yeah, but I feel like the initial timing attack was really good. I mean, he attacked right when Adrenal finished it, when a melee attack upgrade finished. He had 3 Vipers. He had insane Blinding Clouds. He got pretty much every key Terran unit. All the siege tanks went down, and it was just bio and medevacs. But the follow-up from there, he wasn't really able to remax fast enough. And I wonder if that was him overextending, trying to defend that bottom base, or if it was kind of the result of his economy not being enough to support all that tech at once. Because keep in mind, he was only on 80 drones for a very long time there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's kind of a unique ZVT that we get to see, but it was a very cool one. I'm glad that RagnaroK played that game. It was fun to watch.
It's interesting because I think it almost illustrates why you don't normally play like that and try to just hang on. But again, it's also a weird game because it was like the 2 CC or the quick command center right away, right? So you're kind of expecting the game to be a push, and Kira never really overcommitted. Guys, Stargazers has loaded up. We're going to go into game 2 in the final best of 5 of the night.
Game start. Sir, RagnaroK. Terran, Cure.
Another thing to mention in that game. Oh, hold that thought.
Hold on. How about not state?
How about we talk about barracks instead?
Yeah. How about not mention that game? So, this is. Wait, is there a third SCV? I got to lean closer to my
Two
screen.
SCVs. I don't see anyone else moving out on the minimap just yet. So this might just be proxy 2 racks.
But you know, with the popularity of proxy 2 racks into the third racks being hidden from the second 2.
Yeah, there's still no SCV coming out, and no gas.
But you might
either.
You might see this coming and not even have a good read on it. Is what I wanted to say. Like, it's possible you look at this and like. Oh, by the way, he's just not going to see this.
Yeah, the Overlord scouting pattern is not.
He's like, who sponsors this tournament? Oh, Hot 6. That's right.
Yeah, we'll see if the second Overlord is going to actually clip this. Get the minimap.
The second Overlord might, if I'm looking at the trajectory right, might just exactly not do this. Hold on.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close, Tasteless.
Oh, no, he's going to get it. I'm wrong.
Pretty close.
Oh.
All right. Jig is up. But he didn't scout it very quickly. It was not the first Overlord. It was the second Overlord. So Marine production already fully started here.
Seconds are huge, you know, when it comes to scouting proxies. You know, if you could even just get like a 2-second lead on like a 2-second heads up, I guess is the better way to put it.
Just throws down the third hatchery, does RagnaroK.
Bunker. Like it's 1998.
That is some confidence, right? Throwing down the third hatchery here? He saw the barracks. Spinecrawler morphing in the main mineral line.
Well, Zergs have been pretty good at holding these, but, I mean, the fact of the matter is that it's not like he saw this right away. The spine's being made in the main. The SCV is going to do a loop-de-loop inside there.
I wonder if also maybe he recognizes that the situation here at the natural ramp isn't salvageable, so he needs to start the back expansion right away.
2 Lings, were killed off there. The spine's not done. You need the queens and the spine to come down if you're going to take the fight there.
I don't think he's going to take the fight.
You think he's just going to sack it?
I think he might. He does have that natural expansion. As it is right now, 1 bunker completed, a second bunker going up, 2 SCVs, all these Marines. It's just, it would be so hard to hold that. So it seems like this expansion wasn't RagnaroK feeling confident about holding this off. It's just like, okay, I'm going to lose my front expo, but at least I'll have the one in the back and I'll be able to macro out of this just a bit. Because, I mean, imagine if he hadn't mined those minerals yet, or if that base was only halfway done, his economy would be in complete shambles right now. And instead, RagnaroK coming into the main base. He does scout 1 command center, but will he be able to scout the second one, as this is actually a 3CC follow-up from Cure?
Yeah, it's 2 very different games. And you can see that he's fractured off some of his army.
Oh, it's a full wall, isn't it?
So this, yeah, that's correct.
So
that's
cool.
airtight, so you can't get through there. And so the idea is that, all right, he's denied. Oh, dude. Cure is on fire, man.
It's brutal. He does see the third CC.
Does it? Okay, no, he gets it. So, yeah, he denies the hatchery. Then he makes 3 command centers total, right? And then he walls this in with the bunkers so that basically Zerg has to spend all their money trying to open up this position to expand, where Terran should just get this very comfy head start. Now, that's not that easy, by the way.
Yeah, what Cure is doing is buying himself a lot of time, and perhaps this goes back to him electing to go 2 barracks instead of 3 barracks, is that he kind of expected the game to maybe go this way. And,
well, you know what else? It doesn't look like a map where, you know, either of those 2 builds would be that strong, right? Because they do get that free base in the back. But I guess when you play like this, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, and this play is not about killing, it's about containing. And right now, Cure is going to be on 3 command centers, unless RagnaroK builds a macro hatch, which probably wouldn't be the best decision.
Dude, he cannot get the right position with these.
Yeah, it's...
Oh my god.
Awkward little dance. I think that one should hit. Yeah, that one does hit.
I think the other one doesn't. No.
Yeah, he recognizes it too.
This is one of the funny things with StarCraft. It's like not that obvious what the right range is to make this work. I think that
he's just going to go.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have any more time to waste here.
He has to get that hatchery up as fast as possible. Let's see if he's going to try and repair and make this cost as much as possible here.
I mean, he's doing it. To be honest, I mean, this is so much money that Zerg is spending.
Yeah, I almost feel like RagnaroK should have gone in to try and kill the SCVs. This is insane value.
Dude. This bunker, can we interview the bunker after the game's done? This is crazy.
This is like the
he's going to kill the Sunken colony. Or spine crawler, sorry.
Dude. Just
These
crazy.
SCVs, their arms are so tired from repairing. He might have to leave the game, man. He's like not going to kill this thing.
It's insane. RagnaroK has 780 minerals right now. Second spine crawler almost goes down. Trans uses the queen instead of the spine.
Does he want to try to run out and kill the spine? I guess it doesn't matter.
RagnaroK cannot macro. He's only on two hatcheries. He's going to come in with the Lings, and this should eventually be able to clean this up as he surrounds the SCVs and takes them down, but this is about as expensive as possible. Even a queen falls.
Oh
that
my
spine crawler
God.
might get focused
They
as
might
well.
have stim right before this ends.
Oh my God, this is a nightmare.
Dude, he's like,
dude, this bunker, holy
He's going to get the spine now.
Holy crap.
Oh my God, there's going to be Marines. There are going to be Marines to get home. I can't believe this.
Wow.
This was supposed to be like not an interesting part of the game where it's like, yeah, well, you know, look.
You're going to contain, you're going to delay
Yeah.
the third hatchery. Eventually the Zerg will come clean it up.
Yeah.
The game will continue. But instead, oh my God, look at how many Marines we have back at home. This is how far back the Zerg has been set. Is that Kira, not only does he have a worker advantage, but he has like double the amount of Marines as RagnaroK has Zerglings right now.
I can't believe that.
I think he's just going to push across the map and kill him.
Yeah, I don't even know if he needs to do much else. I think he can almost just A-move across the map. This is wild to me. That was, for me at least, the highlight of the evening was watching.
Absolutely. I can't believe how well this went.
I'm stunned by what he was able to eke out damage-wise. I guess the Zerg should have gone for the 2 SCVs in the back way earlier.
Yeah, that's what I was confused about in the initial fight, is that he pulled the Lings back like he wanted to save them, but you need to kill the SCVs, otherwise the bunker's never going to die.
Yeah.
All right, Cure scans in, gets a good idea of the situation here, but these are Marines not only with stim pack, but also with combat shields, and infantry armor level 1's going to finish very soon.
Oh my God. Yeah, I think, I mean, tell me, yeah, that's it, GG. I've never quite seen that before.
That's incredible.
Yeah, he should have killed the SCVs earlier. I mean, that being said, I think Kure probably still wins.
Man, I still want to interview that bunker.
That bunker, man.
That's like the bunker that Terran like sends back to the R&D department to like find out how to make Neosteel frame like a better upgrade.
That's
like,
right,
just,
man.
Like, it never died.
That's going to be Kure's bunker. They're going to have to go to that bunker before the finals of the next year's GSL, and it's going to be like a retired bunker living in the woods. Like, you're the only one that can do it for the rush.
Yeah, Kure's going to like win this super tournament, and they're just going to like they're going to melt down the trophy and turn it into a bunker.
I can't believe how long that thing lived.
Wow. Well, I think RagnaroK is going to request a break here because that's a...
He's going to go research what bunkers are made out of. He's like, what was that?
What's the base armor on a bunker again?
Yeah.
What's the repair rate on SCV?
We don't really see that 3-bunker wall anymore. That was like year 1 of StarCraft 2. When Select would like do the bunker rush and like make the little wall, they couldn't get out. But yeah, that was a smart setup. Kure really came in here playing this out. I mean, he knew who he was up against. RagnaroK, of course, GSL Codes finalist of this last season of GSL Codes.
Yeah, and this might be a round 1 of upsets right now. Hero.
Yeah.
The last Protoss Hope and the reigning DreamHack champion gets revenge on by Bunny. Second place runner-up from DreamHack, and now RagnaroK, the second place from GSL, might be eliminated here in the first round by Kure. And Tasis, I don't think we're going to a break. I think we're ready to go into Tropical Sacrifice or set number 3.
I think so. Guys, game 3 starts now. RagnaroK versus Kure continues on.
Start. Sir, RagnaroK. Terran, Kure.
Still can't get over that bunker.
That was crazy. And it went on and on and on and on, too. But I think part of it was... the bunker was crazy.
Absolutely.
Everybody saw that happen. We're going to get bunker tattoos after this, man. No one's going to know what that is when they look at it. You get a coffee coaster tattoo? No, it's a bunker.
Coaster.
You know, RagnaroK versus Kure, game 2. Round of 16.
What's that, what's like the Frisbee game that people play? You know what I'm talking about? Like the one that like, college kids are like super into. No. Like, it's like disc golf or whatever.
Frisbee.
Yeah,
Ultimate Frisbee, disc golf.
think like the bunker tattoo is like it's like a new high tech like disc golf,
Yeah.
disc golf frisbee or something.
This one doesn't even have to move too. It's crazy.
That was insane.
But yeah, it's just like I guess there was also this error from RagnaroK where he wasn't able to calculate how far the spine crawler is supposed to be. But also when the bunker, when the first one died, the fact that he made another one behind that was kind of interesting. It's just like, well, because the thing is, if those bunkers die fast, all the Marines die. They can't get back home. So I guess it makes more sense to like spend a little bit of extra money.
I think it's all about just buying time, right? I mean, Kira's on 3 command centers. Not only does he have the worker lead because RagnaroK is on 2 hatcheries, but he also has mules dropping down. He's fully saturated on 3 bases instead of 2 bases.
He literally can't be attacked until that position's taken out. It's like a true contain.
So pretty much anything that he can do to delay, it doesn't matter if it costs more mineral investment, it more than pays for itself, and how badly RagnaroK's economy is just getting messed up. And now Kira going for another fast command center here. Factory follow-up for him. And RagnaroK with a handful of Zerglings, also Zergling speed on the way. Kind of similar to what we saw in game number 1.
And Kira's not doing anything, weird or out of the ordinary. I think at this point in time, his confidence levels are through the roof.
Yeah, this is pretty textbook.
Gotta say, a lot of surprises just in the round of 16.
I'm surprised we don't have a Protoss player in the round of 8. I'm surprised that Hero not only got eliminated, but got 3-0'd. I mean, I could always see Bunny beating Hero there in the round 1. Like, the DreamHack Finals was so close. Bunny had a 3-1 series lead at some point in his first LAN Grand Finals.
Right.
But, like, the fashion that he lost in, 3-0 that quickly, was surprising. And now RagnaroK, the GSL runner-up, also on the verge of potentially getting 3-0'd. And it's just very surprising results here in the first round of Super Tournament.
We have not had a 3-2 yet. And I mean, this one's not looking like it's going to be a 3-2 either. But
a lot of lings coming out of RagnaroK as he drones behind this.
So we talked about this before. This might be the first time we actually get to see it, but RagnaroK likes to attack in early on.
Almost got a surround on that Hellion. He's going to try and get it.
Oh no, he messed up. He actually locked the Hellions on the outside.
Yeah, Hellions will get cleaned up, and a lot of SCVs as well. This is a nice exchange here for RagnaroK. This did not cost him very much, and it more than paid for itself already in cleaning up the first 2 Hellions and 7 SCVs.
So what RagnaroK seems to be good at, and I'm glad we get one game that gets to illustrate this, is that he'll like have, and there's nothing really fancy or complicated about the attack. He'll just attack in, and if the Terrans like cutting corners or like trying to scout with a Hellion, they lose their stuff and they get forced back. And if the attack doesn't do that much, RagnaroK never overmade. He didn't like spend all of his money doing this. So
it's like 14 lings or something.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
It's an expendable, forgivable amount to lose.
And if he doesn't do it with lings, sometimes he does it with roaches, right? We see the same thing.
I feel like more often with roaches. Yeah.
Yeah. That is a nice opening. He definitely makes his Terran opponents play honest. He does have this reputation of kind of coming out with these builds quite often in the Best of X series.
And so, right now, Kira's just going and getting Banshees with Cloak. Again, a very normal game. He got tripped up a little bit there early on. It is 1-1-1, so Barracks, Factory, Starport.
Yeah, and the Hellion count getting reset does hurt Kira quite a bit. We'll have 2 less Hellions when he comes in with us. He would love to have 8 instead of 6 right now. He's potentially going to try and get some 2-prong damage in. And the Banshee, it's already been revealed by the Overlord outside of the Terran 3rd base position. So he's going to pick off a Creep Timber now, come into the 3rd base, but Spore Crawlers and Queens are already in position. And now that Kira knows where the Queens are, he's going to try and run in with these Hellions, but there are Lings patrolling to try and block the ramp. Doesn't get a full block off, but the Lings are already dead. That may be a lot of drones going down, Tasteless.
Okay, yeah, there's just not quite enough Lings here to really stop this. And look at this, he's just going to get another shot in there. 12 drones killed off. I don't think he can get any more. Oh, no,
almost.
Bruises him.
But that's kind of reminiscent of what RagnaroK just did to Kira.
Yeah. He's like, now I'm going to make a bunch of decently strong units that are expendable and attack in. Yeah, well, that's the funny thing about it is that it seemed like RagnaroK didn't quite have enough Lings. It's like he took his advantage and then...
I think he had enough. He just needed some Queens there. Like, he had like a million Queens in position here at the 3rd base to defend against the Banshee, which is not necessary.
RagnaroK's like, now I'm going to take some expendable units and hit you with it. He does see the 3rd CC, by the way. Very important.
Oh, did he? He caught that with the Lings. That's a good thing to confirm there. Notice this is not going to be a 2-base all-in. And yeah, that instantly starts up double evolution chamber for RagnaroK. He knows that he can actually begin to ramp up his economy and his tech a little bit.
Okay, so definitely healthy production here for Cure. But RagnaroK's not in bad shape. He's getting his 4th base. I don't know that Cure is going to try to push out or not. I know it's pretty common to always try to at least make the Zerg defend the 4th base.
I don't think he will, just because his first 2 medevacs aren't on the field yet. They're only about halfway done because he made those 2 Banshees. So for Cure, I expect him to try and take this 3rd base and just amass an army that with either 4 or 6 medevacs is able to move across the map and potentially deny the 4th or the 5th of RagnaroK. Because right now, I mean, he invested a lot of his early game tempo and units to get economic damage done, and he did get that damage done with the Hellions, not so much the Banshees. But it does set back his army quite a bit in terms of its strength.
Looks like RagnaroK set up for another counterattack. Oh, hold on. They're going to meet each other over here.
Oh, he is really going to move out with the first 2 medevacs.
Yeah.
That's some bravery, man.
Well, let's see what this could do. The Banshees are going to add some nice cover over here. +1 attack and combat shield is going to finish. So this does, map out to a pretty sensible time to attack. He's going to catch these Banes too. Now, when you consider how many fights are won or lost based off 1 Bane just connecting with the Marines, this is like a pretty big find to deny 4 Banelings.
It's a nice catch. RagnaroK goes back to Cure's base to intercept any reinforcements.
Yeah, he tries to basically get in between them, but the interception was just too good.
Now that Cure has 4 medevacs out, he might be looking to make a bigger push right here through the center lane of this map. More Banelings getting caught morphing. And that's concerning here for RagnaroK. He has 16 more Banelings underway.
So, oh, nice catch here. Could he get these Banes as well? The push is going to come up over here. Now, I think RagnaroK's got a decent shot of holding this.
Yeah, he's going to have about 30 Banelings, which is a really high amount, but he needs to get a good surround. He does not want to get caught up here in this choke.
Yeah, now I think the Zerg might even want to try to destroy those rocks. That bottleneck, if he can just clear the creep out, it's already dissipating. And he could just wedge some tanks down here. I think he could start to shell the hatchery, and it's just not easy to get over here. That little entrance is just a little bit too tight.
Yep. Small lane counterattack, going to pick off a couple of SCVs over here to 3rd base, but the big story is RagnaroK setting up for this flank over here. Banelings and Zerglings coming in from both sides, but a little bit disjointed on the left side. Now the forces converging right here in the middle, going for a big surround.
Dude.
Does get Ling surrounds on the siege tanks.
Dude, the tank shots were so good.
Wow.
That was like almost perfect.
Only 1 take left, but so many Lings and Banelings went down that might be enough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he needs a lot more Banes now.
Look at the army supplies right now, 72 for Cure to the 44 of RagnaroK. That was a perfect engagement. I saw the Lings getting a surround on the tanks, and I thought it was good for him, but I guess the siege tank shots were just too big.
Yeah, I mean, he literally had each of the 3 tanks shoot into 3 different parts of the Banes. The head, it doesn't go down.
It might eventually.
Sometimes I feel like casting's like a rhythm game, and I'm like, I'm going to say it right at the right moment. But I do think this is the beginning of the end here.
I really think so.
He transfuses this, but, it's a futile attempt.
I don't see any way that RagnaroK is going to be able to overcome this army count discrepancy. 80 army supply to 44 is just a terrible position here. 28 more Zerglings are about to pop, but RagnaroK is going to need the best engagement of his life if he's going to be able to break out of this spot here. He knows he has to defend this hatchery. It's fully saturated, needs the economy. It's going so low on HP right now.
Goes down. And, I mean, the army supply is pretty intimidating right now here for Cure. That was some of the best targeting you could have ever asked for. And look, he's not overextending. He has a decent number of his Marines on the low ground. He has stuff, in position to kind of spread out. And this is another sign of a great player, is when you know to, okay, go back home. You kill the base, go home.
Yeah. RagnaroK going to pull back, rendezvous with his forces back at his 3rd base, and then go for what I'm imagining will probably be a killing blow if he decides to commit to it, because army supplies right now 104 for Cure to the 64 of RagnaroK.
Oh, denied. And then he sees there's a hatch over here at the bottom right. There's no creep over here, so this is his for the pickings.
It's a lot of bio coming in. Healthy number of siege tanks as well. And man, the Queens, there's no creep connecting this base to the other.
So vulnerable.
The Queens are going to go down. Feels like nothing is going RagnaroK's way right now.
Another counterattack's going to come here from the Zerg. Oh my god, he's everywhere!
Kira's just playing a fantastic series right now.
Does this get canceled in time? He might not be looking.
No.
He gets killed sold.
Did you say kill sold?
Yeah. Now the Banes are going to come down.
Yeah, this is RagnaroK kind of going for a Hail Mary play right now. He knows he needs to get some damage done, and yes, he will be able to kill the forces here and the SCVs. Actually, no, the SCVs! Kira is so good! He picks up the SCVs, and the Medivacs able to save 10 of them, as now Kira going to amp up the pressure over here on what is now the third base of RagnaroK. These siege tanks in a fantastic position. This vertical line is going to be so hard to break. RagnaroK knows he has to engage on this. Bio is going to try and get us around, and he does have a pretty good one right now, but will the Baneling connections be good enough? The target fire for the siege tank is once again so good. All the Marines survive.
Yeah, infantry armor 2 is now done. Oh my god, he's going to cloak over here. I don't think that RagnaroK can last that much longer. The amount of damage he's taking.
Yeah. I mean, that was a great counterattack by him. It feels like he needed to make a play like that. But look at the resources lost tab right now. 17,000 for RagnaroK to 8,600 from Kira. He's been almost twice as efficient as his Zerg opponent. And that translates right into an almost double army supply lead. And Kira's just playing such a smart game right now. He knows RagnaroK is only on 3 hatcheries. He's only on 3 mining bases. And look, even the third base. This is the most distant base that RagnaroK has. It has half minerals right now. There's almost no income.
Okay, he's coming up now. The Banes are going to come down. And the siege tank once again, he does. That's it. GG. He taps out. 3-0.
Wow.
Pure. Clean in house here. Wow.
They have upsets right now.
I can't believe it, man.
GSL runner-up eliminated 3-0.
We were just talking on the breaks. State and I were talking. We were like, okay, well, everything's been pretty one-sided, but this one has to be close, right? Because Pure's so good, but RagnaroK, you know, with the results he's produced, he's got to be, you know, the favorite. And like, Pure just played so well. I had to say, again, some of the best targeting there. When those Banes came down, and there were so many Banes, he had the tank shots split so perfectly as the Banes were so clumped up that then the infantry could take it out, and that's when that 4th base fell. And the rest is history. It was just him maintaining his lead.
All right, guys, we're going to go to an interview with our winner, Cure.
Wow, what an incredible performance from Cure. Cure takes down RagnaroK in a 3-0 fashion. We're going to have an interview with him. Congratulations. Thank you. And Cure, congratulations on making it to the round of 8. And this year, you have been struggling against RagnaroK, but today you defeat him. How do you feel? Well, I came here thinking that today's match is going to be hard, but things went according to plan, and that's why I was able to win 3-0. Your micro in the skirmishes in the last game was just fantastic. In the first game, you're actually chatting to him, trying to shake his mentality. And you were actually doing as you chatted. So what was the background behind the chat? Well, it was planned beforehand. And I just wanted to shake his mentality as much as possible. Just trying to bring him into the battle wits. But I didn't flame him too hard during the game. I just went for the orthodox build. I mean, the enemy kept expanding the roaches and the ravagers in the fight against you. I mean, RagnaroK was very offensive today, and he expanded a lot of units, and that gave me a window of opportunity to strike him, and then I was able to win. The proxy racks and the proxy bunker was just amazing to watch. It was just mind-blowing. You're enduring for such a long time in front of the enemy expansion. So what are your thoughts on this? I mean, it was my first time encountering such a situation. It was really entertaining for me. I had a lot of fun. So, you know, it was a very fun way to play out the game. All right, this question is outside the game. So in GSL Season 3, you played really well. So what is your goal for this Super Tournament? I mean, this year I haven't been able to get good results, so my goal is to definitely win the Super Tournament. I'm gonna have to prepare hard though to make good results. Your opponent in the round of 8 is gonna be Dark. So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, he's a tough opponent, but in GSL Season 3, I've had experience beating him, taking him down. So I think it's going to be doable. In Season 3, round of 10, you beat everybody else apart from Maru, and then you got reverse sweep by the other player. But watching you in DreamHack Atlanta, you beat Bunny, and then Bunny beat you. It was like back and forth. And so far, there are many Terrans, but no Protoss. So what are your thoughts on the racial balance?
테란전은 그날 좀 컨디션이나 뭐 빌드 같은
I mean, my TVT is definitely gonna be affected with my condition during the day. So I'm not gonna care too much about the TVT. I'm gonna try to emphasize more on the TVZ match on the day. All right then, Cure. So you did say that your objective for this season was to win the Super Tournament. So anything else you want to say? Well, this year I haven't been able to get good results, like I said before. So for the remaining tournaments, I'll try to make thorough preparation and try to do my best. Cure, once again, congratulations on your win. And that was an interview with the last round of 8 advancer. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Excellent work today, as always. What an interesting round of 16. You know, it was just
almost entirely 3-0s.
Yeah. You know, normally you have like 1 or 2 3-0s in a super tournament. So here's our bracket now. It's Maru versus Beyond, so TVT to start this off. And then it's 3 TVZs, right?
Yeah, Solar versus Gumiho,
Okay.
Bunny versus DRG, and Dark versus Cure. And these are a lot of really good matchups.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. Should be a longer day here, too. For some reason, we're having shorter Super Tournament days. For this Super Tournament, normally we go for almost 5 hours. This was like just a little bit over 3.
Yeah, usually they're
our longest days.
Quite long. I mean, it's 4 best of 5s, right? Like,
Yeah.
that should last a long time. But
they don't have more than 3 games in a best of 5. I guess it almost becomes a GSL Code S day after all.
Yeah. Well, some surprising results. Hero going down in the first round.
I think Maru takes Beyond.
Okay. These are your predictions?
Solar Gumiho, I'm not sure. Maybe Solar, but I really don't know.
Okay.
I think Bunny beats DRG. And
Dark versus Cure is tough.
Yeah, well, Cure looked insane today, but Dark does play very differently. So, like, what Cure is able to get away with versus RagnaroK, I don't know if he can do it versus Dark.
So who do you take, do you think?
I think I take Dark.
You take Dark? Yeah.
I think if you want to be safe, you go Dark, right?
Yeah?
Dark's almost always a safe bet.
I think Maru, Solar, Bunny, and Cure. That's my prediction. I think 3 Terrans in the top 4. I mean, Cure just impressed me so much today.
Well, I mean, that was crazy. And, I mean, RagnaroK was playing very well, but the way that Cure was controlling things,
yeah,
I mean, it was insane, man, some of that targeting.
I mean, even when RagnaroK went in for the surround on the siege tank and the bios outside of his 3rd or his 4th base,
yeah,
I was looking at that and like, oh, wow, like now that it was a little disjointed at the start and now that everything's kind of coming together, this looks really good for the Zerg. And then, like, I blink my eyes and the Zerg army's dead and, like, 2 tanks have died, but the entire bio army's standing and, like, what happened?
It was crazy. Like, the tank shots were just so exactly spaced on the Banelings that they all died except for maybe 2 or 3, where then the infantry just shoot it down. It was so sick. Man, can't believe it.
Top 8's going to be very exciting.
That's right. Monday, we're going to be back for day 3, where we'll be doing the entire round of 8 in one day. More best of 5s continuing on here in the Super Tournament. And then the finals, same time, same place, 5 p.m. KST. This is earlier. If you watch live, this is an hour and a half earlier than any GSL Code S days. We do start Super Tournament earlier because it's supposed to be longer, even though now we're leaving the studio earlier than we ever normally do.
Yeah. And the finals, it's first come, first serve. There's no admission fees to just
no
get
tickets.
here.
I always get DMs or tweets at me about this. Sometimes we do have tickets. You got to buy a ticket. Not for this one. It's first come, first serve. We have a pretty decently sized studio. For the Super Tournament finals, I think it's never not totally filled up. So I would highly recommend you come down here. We have a lot of regulars. We have a lot of people, regulars that are just in Seoul that come through here, Korean and foreign. And then we get lots of people now traveling back into the country because Korea's finally opened up. We don't have the same kind of COVID travel restrictions. So we have a lot of tourists in the city, and this is a tourist attraction. So if you want to come down, just come to the studio early or early on before the show starts. Again, 5 p.m. So you decide You don't need to come at like probably 12 p.m. or anything crazy like that, but maybe come an hour early or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds good. And it should be a great finals day, too. I mean, it's Super Tournament, so we have the semifinals and the finals on the final day.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of action, a lot of content, a lot more than we normally have for any finals day. You know, normally at finals, it's literally a Code S finals. It's like...
That's it. The best of 7, you're done.
Best of 7, and sometimes it's like very short. Sometimes it's a 4-0. But at least with the Super Tournament final day, we really get a lot. So if you come down, you can hang out in the studio all day. We got a lot of great games.
Yeah, like the top 8 lineup is absolutely stacked, too.
Yeah,
especially if you're a
crazy.
Terran fan. Like, my goodness.
And if you're a Protoss fan,
sorry.
There's nothing for you, I guess. But you'll see some good games. You get to see who closes it out and becomes the champion of the last big StarCraft game of the whole year. StarCraft tournament of the whole year.
Yeah. Should be a thrilling conclusion. And
now
hopefully we have some closer matches than we did here in the round of 16.
We should. Usually if it gets one-sided at one part of the tournament, the next part of the tournament, it tends to be closer. So, I mean, very rarely do you have an entire tournament where, like, everything's one-sided, where it's like, oh, all right. Well, that guy that won is clearly the best by a lot.
Yeah.
And now you get to experience what Artosis and me experienced. We go, when are they going to let us close the show out? It's fun, right?
Part of the experience.
It's part of the
it's a lot of fun.
GSL caster experience.
It's a couple more minutes with you guys. A couple more minutes with Tasteless. I don't mind it.
Don't mind it at all. We're
My
going to be
happy
hanging out
place.
after this, too. But, yeah, I mean, I hope you guys do come down. We're waiting for the confirmation of GSL for the next year. But we're always waiting for that every year around this time of the year.
It has to get renewed.
Yeah.
So.
I got I'm pretty confident, actually. But, yeah.
It's been a great day. It's been a great round of 16.
I just hope they keep
the
us
look
on
on your
for even longer.
face.
I thought we kind of said everything that had to be said, but and of course, those of you in the studio, it is so good to have you guys down here.
Yeah,
it is
absolutely.
so nice to actually have people come in and casting to an audience once more. And that's it. That's all the time we had to fill, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on Monday, 5 p.m. KST. Bye-bye.